Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com.
People are interested.
But you know what? If you send me an email, you'll get a response, and it will be from me.
And I really don't have any desire to.
You haven't watched the trailer at all?
No.
A lot of people haven't heard of the couch division, so
It's a comfy division to be in, though.
it's super comfy. It's almost too comfy at times.
Your response to teams who see that as a new potential issue with districts?
Yeah, that's really a two-pronged question.
Let's see if there's any damage from that fall. There was. They snapped 330. Still on their back. 6 seconds to go.
4 was the highest ranked. And as votes continue to pour in, everything kind of changed around a little bit.
So we forget about that.
First Updates Now is brought to you by Twitch. Fun is now a Twitch partner and offering some awesome subscriber-only benefits. Subscribe today or get a free subscription each month when you have Amazon Prime by linking your account and clicking subscribe. Good evening. Coming up on First Updates Now recap, week 4 is in the books. We had, 27 and a half events because the Israeli District Championships going on right now. So an absolutely fantastic event list to cover. FRCTop25. Christina Tia is here. Ryan Guinn is here. We're going to get all to that in just a little bit. But reporting for First Updates Now, I'm Tyler Olds.
And I'm Mike Starke.
And I'm Justin Montois. And as Tyler just mentioned, our guest tonight is Ryan Guinn. Ryan is in his 9th year in FRC, was a student and mentor on Team 2338 Garrett Ford, and most recently mentored for the past 2 years with 1732 Hilltoppers out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Ryan, thanks so much for being on. And back again this week is Christina Tia from Wordplay All Day, who is going to be drawn up and giving away a robot that we are all personally very excited about. So, Christine, welcome back. And who will you be drawing today?
Glad to be back, and I'll be drawing the Beast, Hammond, from 2002.
The Beatty Beast.
Yeah, I mean, we got just real quick just to talk about how badass that robot is, because if you didn't get a chance to see it, there is actually a 2002. Maybe we'll show it in post show. There's a 2002 finals video I know from Midwest on YouTube right now. We can check out at some point. But that robot is absolutely dominant. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's a World Championship robot. And if you are interested in winning that fantastic giveaway that Christine's going to be drawing up, you get the actual drawing too. So it's really cool. She'll ship that to you. Make sure you do click follow if you're watching us live on Twitch, or for 5 times more chances to win. If you become a subscriber, you get a little bit more shot at it. We'll have a secret key phrase a little bit later on during the show that you'll have to type in once the drawing comes. So once again, click follow, or for 5 times more, click subscribe. Don't forget, we do have some awesome emotes, including some new ones that just came out from some of our community as well. So subs, if you're in chat, start spamming some of our new emotes so everybody can check those out.
Very cool. Thanks, Tyler. So week 4 was the busiest week of 2017 as far as first events, districts, regionals all go. So we're going to start it off. We're going to just kind of plug along here. We're going to start off with Justin at the New England, Rhode Island event.
All right, so district play in New England continued in Rhode Island. 41 teams competed for points toward the district championship, and the best team poised to do that after 12 matches was 2168, the Aluminum Falcons. They added 70 airstrike and 67-31 and headed to the playoffs. They found success early and easily advanced to the finals to face the number 2 Alliance of 4176, 5846, and 6620. The matches, however, weren't close, as wins of over 200 points overwhelmed the number 2 Alliance, giving the red number 1 Alliance a comfortable win. Congrats to them, as well as a double gold Kling Bling, our first one of the night, to Team 78 Airstrike and their district chairman's award. So I have to see if the Kling Bling was so prevalent last week. We'll have to see if that continues this week. So I'm going to wrap up my coverage of the New England district. So Rhode Island wasn't the only event to take all the glory, as the Southern New Hampshire event also took place this weekend. The number 1 ranked team was Title Force, 1721. The number 1 Alliance, however, would be upset by the number 8 Alliance, who impressively would go all the way to the finals and take the win over the number 3 Alliance of 1922, 2370, and 716. So a great win for that underdog Alliance. And another congrats to 1735, who picked up the district chairman's award.
Very cool. So from New England, we're going to go over to the Chesapeake District, starting in Central Maryland. So one of the two events happening this week in the Chesapeake District was at the South River High School in Edgewater, Maryland. 40 teams took the field there, and 55-87 Titan Robotics took the #1 seed for the second event in a row. And yet again, they exited the quarterfinals after being beaten by the #8 Alliance twice in a row. Not really sure why that happened, but in the finals, we would see the #5 Alliance. I do actually know it's Steamworks. In the finals, we would see the #5 Alliance versus and Death by Serpentine if you watched Kenley speaking yesterday. So we saw #5 Alliance and the #2 Alliance that they beat with scores of 311 and 305. The #5 Alliance would take the win, captained by 51-15 Knight Riders, joined by 1389 the Body Electric and 2534 Lumberjack Robotics. And also congrats to 2537 Space Raiders on their District Chairman's Award. So from one to the next, we'll head over to Central Virginia district events, still in the Chesapeake District here. So fresh off their double gold performance at the Greater DC District event, iLight Robotics Team 1885 took the #1 seed with a 1.66 ranking score average. They selected teams 384 Starke and 5957 Cat 5 Cybercanes to their alliance. They would be the #8 and the #4 alliances to play the #2 alliance of 1262, 1598, and 5279 in the finals. Match 1 went to the Red Alliance. Match 2 was a 305 all-square tie. And then match 3 went to the Blue Alliance. And with a score of 445, the #1 Red Alliance would take that victory. Congrats to 1885, 384, and 5957 for the win. And congrats to 1086 Blue Cheese on the District Chairman's Award. Off to first in Michigan.
No. How's it go?
Nah,
Thank you. All right, four FIM events this week. Like I said, we're in the long stretch here, guys. FIM starts off with in Midland, 1506 Metal Muscle would take the #1 seed and would draft 3770 Blitzkrieg in 5661 Robo Cards. After getting through a hiccup of losing a match in the quarters, the #1 Alliance sailed through the rest of the quarterfinals and semis to face off against the #2 Alliance of 5166, 2619, and 6020. Blue was no match for the #1 Alliance, as the Red Alliance took both matches with scores of 355 to 256 and 315 to 165. Chairmans would go to 2619, the Charge, and Endstream Inspiration would go to 5424 Rogue Robotics. Moving on to our next event in FIM is going to be the West Michigan District event located in St. Joseph. #1 seed would go to a team who won just 2 weeks ago in 3620 Average Joes. We've talked about them before. They'd go on to select 4003, 5316. And after scoring 4 rotors in 3 matches of the quarters and semis, they would waltz into the finals to face the #6 Alliance and Gull Lake winner, 5675 Wildcats, and their alliance partners, 141 Wobot and 5980 East Grand Rapids Robotics. The first match would come down to autonomous as the Blue Alliance scored 9 field to Red's 4, and they would take the first match 339 to 334. Finals 2 would come down to consistency and connectivity. The Red Alliance, after some robot issues, were unable to secure a third rotor and was left out of the third robot climb, which cleared the way for the #6 Blue Alliance to take a 317 to 221 victory. Chairman's Award going in that district event to 3572 Wavelength, and EI would go to 2405 Techno Trojans. Halfway through, let's move on to Woodhaven. Here we saw a classic 1v2 matchup with both alliances scoring 4 rotors in the semifinals. The #1 Red Alliance was comprised of one of the best under-the-radar teams really in Michigan. And I'm not in Michigan myself, but I keep hearing this team more and more personally, but I don't hear too much hype about them. And that's 5053 Lakers. They would pick up 1481 the Riveters and 5577 Kinematic Wolves. And face off against the #2 Alliance of 503 Frog Force, 1023 Bedford Express, and 4737 Atomigators. In Finals 1, 503 Frog Force had communication issues for much of the match, which held Blue to only 2 rotors, allowing Red to take a 305 to 196 win. Finals 2 really came down to driving ability. Blue struggled with defense out of 47-37. They just couldn't get the right D going against Red, and Red had more offensive power, taking 3 rotors. And even though the Lakers fell last moment, they had enough to take the Woodhaven event with a score of 256 to 166. Chairmans would go to 226 Hammerheads, and entering Inspiration and Double Silver Kling Bling would go to 1023 Bedford Express.
Yes.
And our last FIM event here, this will be a little bit longer and some interesting matches of this event, is going to be at the Lansing District event in Mason, Michigan. The number 1 seed going to 27-71, but this alliance would fall short as they were knocked out by the number 8 seed of 33-22, 10-76, and 15-04. They'd face a number 4 seed at 26-11, 302, 244, and backup Robot coming in for 244, 36-68. On face-off, and some of the most exciting offensive eliminations I've seen, as both alliances scored 4 rotors and had all 3 robots climbing in both semifinal matches. Pretty cool sight to see. It was a number 4 Blue Alliance with Fuel making the difference and took both matches to launch into the finals to face a number 2 seed of 33-57 Comets, 494 Martians, and 308 Monstars. These teams would trade matches back and forth. First match going to the Blue Alliance. The Blue Alliance scored 4 rotors and had 0 takeoff points. And with Red only be able to get 2 robots ready for takeoff, number 2 Blue Alliance would take the first match 312 to 287. The other 2 matches were really, really close. Red would take the second match due to a gear delivered in auto 261 to 241. And in final 3, Fuel would make the difference as the Blue Alliance scored 10 more pressure points than Red, and they would take the district event 272 to 262. Chairman's Award going to 51-14 Titanium Tigers, and Engineering Inspiration going to the number 1 seed, so they get something out of it. A nice silver medal to 27-71 Code Red Robotics, the Stray Dogs for EI. Wow. On the PNW. Yeah.
Good job, Tyler. That was
Tyler.
That was all one. That was one breath, by the way.
Also, just as a little brief aside, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this in the chat, the red medals this year are pretty much orange. It's just, I don't know why. First gets these little, in my opinion, gets these little details so wrong. Like one year they had the banners flip, like the dates were in the middle and the accomplishment was at the bottom. Just these little details just get messed up and really end up bothering me.
Ryan, I got to ask Ryan, was your blue medal actually blue that you got?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it right now. Yeah, it looks blue.
It's
blue. At least one of them.
No, it's blue. It's not the same blue. I promise you that. It's a lighter blue, which against all the rest of them, just it looks weird. It's unfortunate in my opinion, but oh well.
For sure.
Myself and First clearly have had different opinions for some time.
Different color palettes.
Yep.
All right.
Meredith confirms new vendor for the medals. Thank you.
Yes, they are orange.
Indeed. So I'm going to cover the Pacific Northwest, 2 events this weekend in the Pacific Northwest, where I learned to climb trees, continued at the Clackamas event. 37 teams competed, and taking the top spot was 14-25. They would add Pacific Northwest powerhouse Shockwave 44-88 and 64-45 at the end of the draft. Number 1 seeds are seeming to find their groove a little bit this week, at least, where they advanced to the finals to face the number 6 alliance. The power of the number 1 alliance was evident, however, as they were able to win both finals matches by over 150 points to take the event win. So congrats to them, as well as 25-21 CERT, who won the District Chairman's Award. And we'll move over and cover the Glacier Peak, one of the bigger district events we've covered. 40 teams competing after 12 matches. 49-15 was the number 1 seed. In the alliance selections, 58-03 and 32-68 would join the top-ranked alliance and head to the playoffs. In the semifinals, the number 1 alliance found trouble, and the number 4 alliance at 492, 29-30, and 22-28 would advance to the finals. The number 2 alliance was there to meet them of 1778, 1294, and 3070, and they certainly expected some tough competition, and they got it from the number 4 alliance. After 2 matches, that alliance was able to take the win using 4 rotors twice to ensure that 100-point bonus. So congrats to them, as well as 25-57 on the District Chairman's Award. So is that all of our district events?
I have, I got one.
Mike, do you remember when they first happened, like the first district events started really becoming popular? We would cover events and we would call them regional events every single time.
Every time. The regional, district.
Dude, there's like 7 more district events to cover.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It's a long week.
Oh, you have Indiana. Yeah.
So many events, so many district events. Yeah. But I'm going to talk about a regional, the Rocket City Regional. The Von Braun Center, named for Werner von Braun, in Huntsville, Alabama, played host to 50 teams competing for the Blue Banners at the Rocket City Regional. Each team competed 10 times, and FRC Top 25 familiar face 4451 Robots Garage took the number 1 seed with the RS average of 2.0. Same. To form their alliance in the eliminations, they selected 58-42 and 11-08 and set off for the playoffs. Glory was short-lived for the number 1 alliance, however, as they were upset by the number 8 alliance in the quarterfinal round. The number 8 alliance would in turn be defeated by the number 5 alliance of 13-19, 79, and 27-83. From the other side of the bracket, the number 2 alliance and 180 Spam, 2012 world champs, 179 and 39-59 were able to quickly advance to the finals, defeating the number 7 and number 3 alliances on the way. In this 2 versus 8 finals, kind of a rare one, match 1 went to the number 2 alliance with an impressive score of 447 to 292, with the 4 rotor bonus increasing their score dramatically. In the second match of the finals, the number 2 alliance wasn't able to get those 4 rotors, but the end result was the same, with a score of 416 to 242. The number 2 alliance of Spam, Children of the Swamp, and MechTech took the regional win. Congrats to them, as well as Clockwork Mania 4013 on their regional chairman's award.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. You sound a lot better this week.
Getting there, man.
Getting there. Not quite there, but better.
If my students
so
didn't ask so many questions, I would be a lot better, but
I know.
it's constant.
Yeah. Right.
Justin, aren't you competing this week too?
I am.
Oh, you're screwed, dude.
Off to Buckeye tomorrow.
I can't wait till to hear you next week.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. All right, it's on to the North Carolina Raleigh event. So Southeast Raleigh High School would host 33 teams, and it would be 26-42 that Pitt Pirates, who took the top spot after winning the District Chairman's Award and the event at the Pitt County District event. They selected 5190 Green Hope Falcons and 6004 Effects Robotics. This alliance would face the number 2 alliance in the finals. It went to 3 matches, but it was the number 1 alliance who took the win. Congrats to 2642 on their 3rd banner of the year, and to 5190 and 6004 for their win, and congrats to 900 the Zebracorns on the District Chairman's Award. The Oklahoma Regional saw 61 teams compete in Oklahoma City, but it would be 23-52 Meadow Mayhem who would take the number 1 seed. However, that alliance would be upset by the number 4 alliance in the semifinals, and in the finals, we would see number 4 versus number 2. Second-year team, 60-26. Tiger Strike led this alliance with the help from 1806 SWAT and 932 Circuit Charge. Battling back and forth, these 2 alliances would go to 3 matches, but it was the number 2 alliance that would take the win. So congrats to 60-26, 1806, and 932 on the win, and 3284 for taking home the Regional Chairman's Award there. Over to the Hudson Valley Regional that took place in Suffern, New York, and 48 teams took the field there. After taking the number 1 seed, 250, the Dynamos, and their alliance would lose to the number 8 alliance of 2601, the Steelhawks, 369 High Voltage, and 639 Code Red Robotics. From here, the number 8 alliance would then beat the number 4 alliance to play that 2 alliance in the finals. The number 2 alliance was captained by 1155 Cyborgs, and they were joined by 303, the Tusk team from Mar, and 1600 Robo Kings and Queens. It didn't take long to need a backup bot as 4122 Asseninging bots took the place of 1600 in quarterfinal match number 2. In the finals, the Red Alliance took match number 1, and with the help of 50 foul points, the Red number 8 Alliance took the win with a score of 495 to 296. Congrats to this alliance and 4091 Drift on their Regional Chairman's Award.
So we're on to Indiana, huh?
To Indiana.
Let's do it. 37 teams and no invaders from the north this time, so that's a plus that we've seen. I'm sure if you're from Indiana, you're happy about that. Perry Meridian showcased Pure Indiana this week. Securing the number 1 seed for a second time, though, this season would be 71 Team Hammond, and they would select 1720 and 1529 with high hopes of a deeper round this time. Hammond going down to the quarterfinals, last time they were the number 1 seed. Number 1 alliance would struggle all the gate, but dredged through 3 matches in both the quarter and semifinals to face a number 2 alliance of 1501 Team Thrust, 234 Cyber Blue, and 2197 Las Pumas. Finals match 1 was neck to neck with both alliances securing 4 rotors, but the Blue Alliance would take the win with 3 climbs and a score of 450 to 405. Nice high scores there in Indiana. Finals 2 saw a separation as the Blue Alliance were once again able to secure 4 rotors, and a critical error, unfortunately, by 71. With little time left, they knocked a gear out of their alliance partner as they were trying to shuttle back. and they contacted 2197 while they were trying to climb, and it ended up securing the win. That might have been inconsequential, but just a couple mistakes at the end there. And Blue Lions would take the win 404 to 215. Chairman's Award going to 135 Penn Robotics, and then during Inspiration going to 3494 Quadrangles. So let's take a look at an event that I was at for a little bit this week. And of course, our guest, Ryan, we're going to want him to talk about this event definitely. That is going to be the Wisconsin Regional, bringing in 54 teams and a lot of four-rotor possibility. Taking the number one seed would be 2062 Core, and they would select alliance partners 3130 and 1091. Looking at the alliances, many were anticipating an intense semifinal between the number one alliance and number four alliance, which contains 1732 Hilltoppers, 1675 Ultimate Protection Squad, and 2194 Fondy Fire. Both alliances scored four rotors in the quarterfinals, and the semis did not disappoint. Tough defense was played on both sides, but after three matches, the number four Blue Alliance would take the third match to face off against the number seven Alliance of 5976, 930, and 537, and actually 537 being partners with 1732 just a couple weeks ago. Three more matches would be required to get a winner after the Red Alliance took Finals 1, 343 to 222, and the number 7 Blue Alliance would take Finals 2, 316 to 220. But Finals 3 was a lot closer. Number 4 Red Alliance was able to secure 3 rotors, so the Blue Alliance is 2. But the Blue Alliance started to come back big as 2 fuel scorers in 537 and 930. Third robot on 5976 did die, but was resurrected with just over 30 seconds left. And all 3 blue robots were climbing to Red Alliance's 2. It came down to a tech foul, putting Red over the top, and they would go to take the Wisconsin Regional with the 294, the 284 victory. Chairman's Award going to 2220 Blue Twilight. That's racking them up once again, several years in a row, if I'm correct. And entering Inspiration, going a second time to 93 New Apple Cores. That's their second time this season that they've gotten that. So Ryan, one of the things I want to let you know about, I don't think you knew this, is I did a little bit of filming down there, and we're not ready to show that yet in our shows just because we're doing 4 shows a week right now. But one of the questions I asked him, I said, hey, we're not going to release this till after the regional, is if you had to pick one team to be on your alliance in all here, who would it be? If you're the number one seed, who would you pick first? And I think all but one that I asked said 1732, the Hilltoppers for that. So you guys have won both events so far. Going into, you've had a strong season. Why don't you give us a breakdown of the Wisconsin Regional and kind of where you guys are looking at going to the championships?
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting things that happened. Obviously, one of the things that's looming is the Phantom 4-rotor thing, which I think we'll talk about a little bit. But the seeding was pretty up in the air until like the last couple matches. And interestingly enough, so Core 2062 ended up seeding first. Interestingly enough, a rookie team, 6223, that didn't have a climber or any kind of gear manipulator that was posting on Chief Delphi kind of before the event. We reached out to them and we ended up helping them cheesecake a climber on, and they helped Core secure a 3 RP match. I think they had the 4 rotors, if I remember correctly, and then they ended up climbing in the last second with the climber we helped them cheesecake on, so that was pretty cool for them and kind of cool for our students to see too. Some other things in the seating, the 4th rotors being attributed randomly kind of affected it a little bit. But it ended up playing out pretty straightforward. When you said, yeah.
I do want to get those 4 rotors later on once we kind of do a recap of the week, because that's something I think we should go into, because that, not necessarily that situation, but we are seeing other situations similar to that pop up at other events, especially this week too. So, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, Wisconsin is pretty much just a really deep regional, or at least like the middle ground is like pretty much all the same. When we were doing our Friday night scouting, we kind of threw up on there what the 24th spot for like average gears, average climbs, and all that was, and pretty much everyone had almost exactly the same makeup. So, it wasn't that terrifying picking from the 4th spot, because you knew that, I mean, we got Fondy as our second pick, and, they scored as many or more gears than us, and the same as 1675. So like, it was just a straightforward alliance the whole way through. It was pretty interesting seeing 930 and 537 team up. They were the only 2 other like consistent ball scorers at the event. So seeing them be on a team and make it to finals was definitely pretty interesting, especially because I mean, everyone pretty much had good climbing, but 537 didn't do a lot of the gears. So kind of seeing them, be able to get what they needed on gears and put up the balls that they needed to and get to finals was pretty telling.
So that's interesting, by the way. You mentioned that 537 didn't do much in gears because you guys picked them at the St. Louis Regional as your last pick on the way back around. So what was it about 537 that's so appealing to you guys, to either you or to have the other alliance, the number 7 alliance, pick them up?
Well, 537 is another robot that has a 6-sim tank drivetrain, and if you saw any of the semifinal matches, it's very much the same thing as here. The alliance who went up against the semifinals in St. Louis had done 4 rotors 2 matches in a row, and they had them by like 40 seconds left in the match. So we didn't even get our 3rd rotor. We scored the first. We'd place our auto gear, we place the other gear, and then just play lockdown defense. So they had that on lock, and 1706 was good for 40 kPa on their own, but it was nice having that insurance policy in 537 as well. And the St. Louis Regional, we didn't shoot balls yet, so we didn't have that capability ourselves, and we didn't really plan on having 537, but it all worked out pretty well, I think.
So talk about that. As you guys went from the St. Louis Regional into the Wisconsin Regional, you mentioned you weren't shooting balls. You guys have gotten a lot of hype for your ground pickup. That was something after St. Louis Regional. I know you mentioned to me that there's a lot of teams just reaching out about that are really curious about that. So what inspired you guys? If you're doing so well in gears, I mean, you guys had 4 rotor matches. Why did you even worry about fuel?
Yeah, so, our main goal was to definitely win the Wisconsin Regional, but we definitely had our mindset towards what we're going to be doing for champs, kind of like where we want to stand and what other teams are doing. And I do think we neglected our gear manipulator a little bit at Wisconsin. With the peg changes, it actually droops a little bit more while it's more sturdy. It's a little bit low for where we had it tuned at St. Louis. So that was a change that perhaps if we had just focused on gears, you would have been a little bit more efficient at. But definitely we had all the main components for the shooter on the bot at St. Louis, but just some things like, hopper panels and things like that. And then testing on the Autobot, on the practice bot was pretty interesting. Kind of a weird, a crazy surprise for us was we had our hopper auto that drove down the line and drove to the boiler, tested on the practice bot, and we got inspected and went straight to our first practice match. And we did some light calibration, but never tested out the auto mode, and it worked the first time, and we never really changed the code in any significant way since then. So just the fact that it went from the practice bot to the competition bot and worked was a shock to everyone. I think I had the percentage at 1%, and then another mentor talked me up to 10%, and I guess I was completely wrong.
Justin, have you ever had that luck before about having auto work the first time? Because I sure as hell haven't.
No, absolutely not. And certainly not transferring from the practice bot to the comp, even though we try to keep them identical as possible. But also, I think it gives a lot of credence to the accuracy of your practice field, too. That was something that we were concerned about as well. Just, we think, we go according to the drawings for the practice field, our practice field as best we can, but there's always that little bit of nervousness to the competition field. So kudos to you guys as well for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and Ryan, another thing we can bring up too is later on was some of the variances on the fields too, because I know there was some measurement in regards to one was extreme and the other. So it's something we can I like to bring up once we kind of recap the entire week as well. I do want to commend you guys. When I said this, I ended up catching you right after line selection. I said, how the hell did you guys get 2194 Fondy Fire as where you did in the second round pick? And I think that. UPS, obviously a strong team. That was a team you guys actually in St. Louis had that footage where you guys, how many gears did you get in that match in St. Louis?
We scored 9. You
scored 9, and that was due to you shuttling with 1675 UPS. So I'm sure you were very comfortable with them, but then 2194 as a pickup on the way back was, in my opinion, a very smart choice. And between them and 537, the best picks of the draft. So kudos to you guys and to your team, and going in with 2 blue banners for competition wins, going to championships, got to be a good feeling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Anything else to wrap up on Wisconsin, Ryan, before we move on?
Nothing that we aren't going to talk about later. So.
All right, fair enough. Sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to move on. Continuing our recaps for this week and talk about the Los Angeles Regional. So California play continued at the LA Regional in Long Beach. 60 teams competed for gold. In 696, the Circuit Breakers ranked first overall with a 2.11 average ranking score. It's funny, as I was going through my research for this week, when we first started the first 2 weeks, nobody was averaging over 2. Like 1.7, 1.8 was really good.
Yeah.
But now we're consistently seeing teams averaging above 2, a 2 RS average, which is awesome. So the finals would be the 696 led number 1 alliance, along with 330 the beach spots and 5124. They would face the number 2 alliance in the finals of 3309, 2486, and 3303. After back and forth matches, each alliance gaining a win, the number 1 alliance would emerge in match 3 to take the regional win. So congrats to them, as well as 2761, who picked up the regional chairman's award. I'm going to move over and talk about the Festival de Robotics in Montreal, one of the most festive and exciting events, not only from the robot standpoint, but from the production value. It's just an incredible event. So 48 teams took over Montreal for the weekend and played 9 qualification matches with a record of 8-1. Team that we're pretty familiar with in this area, 229 Division by 0 claimed the top spot. Nice rebound here for them. For the playoffs, they decided to go to battle with 2590 Nemesis and 5618. The alliance was able to confidently move through the quarterfinal and semifinal rounds and advance to the finals without suffering a playoff loss. On the opposite side of the bracket was the number 3 alliance who was making noise. The alliance consists of 5553, 5528, and 3386, and they defeated the number 6 and number 2 alliances as they advanced to the finals. Finals match 1 was a nail-biter. Coming out of auto, the number 1 alliance had the lead thanks to a side peg autonomous, kind of rare there from Division by 0. And the rest of the match was fairly even. A misclimb by the red alliance opened the door for a blue win in a 285 to 282 match. Very close. In the second finals match, this time it was the blue alliance who scored a gear in auto to take the lead. The blue alliance was able to keep and maintain their lead to win the match and the event with a score of 306 to 240. So congrats to them, as well as 55-53 again for their double gold cling bling. So great job to all teams.
What's 2 for you this week, buddy?
I know, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it could be. My week was last week, I think.
Yeah, well, it definitely was.
There's few pronunciations I look forward to hearing Justin say every year, and this is one of them. Along with our district ones too, but you just haven't been feeling well. It just hasn't been the same.
I know.
All right, over to the Colorado Regional. So over in Denver, they saw 48 teams compete, and it was 16-19 Epic Creek Robotics who took the number 1 seed after being finalists at Utah a few weeks ago. They would select Crush, Team 10-11, and 36-48 Sparta Robotica with their picks. Advancing through to the finals, they would play number 3 alliance of 43-88, 399, and 1339. The Red Alliance was lights out, scoring 351 and 415 in their 2 finals matches. And congrats to 16-19, 10-11, and 36-48 on the win, and to 10-11 on their double gold cling bling for taking home the Regional Chairman's Award. So there's my first. And they also did a Dean's List Finalist Award this weekend as well. So awesome weekend for them. Congrats to Crush and the whole alliance as well. Over to Bayou. So after a quarterfinal outing at the Arkansas Rock City Regional, it was 36-16 Team Phenomena who took the number 1 seed at the Bayou Regional, and they selected 39-37 Breakaway and 22-81 the Green Villains to their alliance. Taking down the number 8 and number 4 seeds on the way to the finals, they would face the number 3 alliance of 45-87, 34-78, and 1902. The number 1 alliance would take the first win, 455 to 322. Battling back was that number 3 alliance, winning 324 to 270, which was a significant drop in scores from the number 1 alliance. So not sure if something happened there, but taking the third win in the rubber match decisively was the Red Alliance once again, winning 452 to 286. This alliance scored over 450 points 3 out of their 8 matches in the playoffs, so nice job to them. And congrats to 1912 Team Combustion on their Regional Chairman's Award. Over to Mar.
Yeah, Mar Syndicate. I'm going to steal this one from Mike. Usually he covers Mar, but I was doing Game Day Live on Sunday, so I got to watch all the playoffs for that and a little bit before that as well, too. So Mar Seneca brought some great teams for the Mid-Atlantic region, taking the number 1 seed, be 1391 the Metal Moose. Was there a Metal Moose in FIM or something like that? Or did I put the same one twice? That sounds familiar. And after scoring 4 rotors in the first match, they lost the next 2 matches against the number 8 seed. That number 8 seed would go on to play the number 4 alliance at 219, 5401, and 2600 in the semifinals. After 3 back and forth matches, the number 4 Red would win and advance onto the finals. And on the other side of the bracket, they would end up playing 365 Mo, 5895 Petty School Robotics, and 3167 Mechanical Misfits. which actually ended up beating up on the number 3 Veteran Alliance to create an amazingly close finals matchup. Fuel would play a major role in the first 2 matches as the number 4 Red Alliance took the first match 322 to 314. Coming back in the second match with 5 more KPA and auto would be the number 2 Blue Alliance, and taking the finals to 330 to 325. Match 3 saw another close match, but unfortunate circumstance for Red led to only 2 robots ready for takeoff, and the number 2 Blue Alliance would take the event with all 3 robots climbing with a 317 and the 284 victory. Chairman's Award would go to 203, One Tough Team, and entering inspiration going to 1640, Sabotage. Shout out to Mike. Sabotage. All right, PCH Albany. Let's get into this one. This was Albany. Is it Albany? Albany.
Well,
okay, wait, no. That's in the Peachtree. That might not be the New York way to say it.
Yeah, we say Albany, but who knows?
That's right.
Anybody from that can share. But...
Anybody from Peachtree can tell us how to say it. So
it's Albany. Come on.
All right. Albany. All right. Albany. I'll probably mispronounce it. So this was one of the 2 events we're going to talk about this week where something incredible happened, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But this was, if you didn't see this or Iowa, absolutely nuts. So let's start out with Peachtree first. Albany, as they say, would feature a great matchup of teams that would all potentially take number 1 spot. It would be a team that's been really a rising star in Peachtree, 4188 Columbus Space Program, taking the number 1 seed. And they'd go on to draft a team who already had 3 blue banners. They had a chairman's and 2 district wins, 2974 Walton Robotics, and they wrapped up their alliance with 5828 Robopats. This would be the event of ties. Number 1 Alliance breezed in the finals with 305 in every quarterfinal and semifinal match, by the way, every single match. Consistently 305. But other side of the bracket, you got to take a look at this. Number 2 Red Alliance and number 3 Blue Alliance in the semifinals would play 6 matches. They tied the first 3 matches that they played. And so tied including falls and stuff, because there are tiebreakers, remember, in the semis. In the finals, it's a little bit different. But in the semis, the first 3 matches were tied, with the first match 235, match 2 255, and match 3 255. Absolutely insane. It would also take 3 additional matches to promote a finalist. So not only did they tie 3 times, but then they went back and forth as well too, where you had one alliance winning one, then the other, then going back again. Absolutely crazy. So 6 matches to play it. And it would be the number 3 seed, 4080, 4091, and 6714 going on the face of the number 1 alliance in finals. Finals 1 would be decided by 2 falls as the number 3 Blue Alliance took a 265 to 255 victory. Finals 2 looked almost identical with no falls, but we saw our 4th tie of the event as both teams scored 255. Once again, more ties. Finals 3 went to 2 climbs. Finals 3 went to the 2 climbs on the against Blues 1 climb. And allowed the Red Alliance with a 255 to 230 victory. With teams ready to break down, and the number 3 Alliance playing their 12th match of the elimination tournament, they just could not keep it going. So they encountered difficulties and had no robots ready for takeoff and only 2 rotors. Allowed Red to swoop in and take match 3 with a 311 to 155 victory. Chairman's were going to 4713 Terminators, and entering inspiration would go to 4189 Chargers. And we'll talk about these the ties and stuff once we get over, and we have another event to go through with that. But absolutely insane to play 12 matches, 12 elim matches. That's nuts. That's like teams on Einstein play that much.
Yeah. On to Ontario.
Hey, is that me?
Yes.
Sorry, got lost in the chat.
Watching the whales.
So 2 Ontario events that I'm going to talk about. The first is the Georgian College. Is that right?
Is that right?
Georgian?
Yeah, that's
Georgian College.
Georgian.
The G College event.
There you go.
In Ontario, 34 teams competed for gold when the dust settled. 4976 was the number 1 ranked team. They built an impressive alliance consisting of 5406 and 3560. This alliance would cruise to the finals. They would have a tough test in the number 2 alliance at 1285, 865, and 4152. After going back and forth in match 1 and 2 in the finals, match 3 was tight to the very end. The final score without a red card would have been 277 to 272. The red card unfortunately brought the 272 to 0. I'm not sure what the red card was for. Tried to do some research and couldn't quite find out. So the penalty didn't affect the match. It was very close up until the end, 277-272. So congrats to the number 1 Alliance for the win, as well as 1241 Theory 6, who picked up the district chairman's award.
Hey, Justin, I can do just a real. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but I know somebody asked Karthik this on Candidly Speaking last night, and he said he was privy to behind the scenes, but didn't want to get into it. So I don't know exactly what went down. Mike, I don't know if you know.
I have no idea.
So maybe somebody in chat knows.
Apparently it's Georgianne.
Georgianne.
No, they said Anne. Georgianne.
Georgianne. Okay.
Georgianne.
No,
Georgianne.
I'm going Georgianne.
Georgianne, yeah.
Well, Ryan, give us your best pronunciation.
Georgian.
All right.
Georgian. Yeah, he said with like an E. Georgian, like us. Georgian.
All right, sorry, Justin.
That's okay. This is a great discussion.
It is.
All right, so I'm going to wrap up Ontario talking about the world famous Waterloo District event. So in the past years, when it used to be a regional, it was the Canadian event to its end. Mike and I have gone up several times, drawing teams from all over the world. Now a district event, 32 teams competed for that same glory. And after
Justin, let me interrupt you. The 2 lowest team numbers at this event were 1114 and 2056.
And wouldn't you know it, they took the top 2 spots, with 2056 being number 1, 1114 number 2. But they were also the only 2 teams at the event to have an RS average of over 2. So not surprising anyone, they would team up along with 6481 in the playoffs, hoping to add another Waterloo banner to their history. The number 1 Alliance wasn't truly tested in their quarterfinal or semifinal rounds, winning each match by a climb or more, sometimes 2 climbs, 100 matches or more, or 100 points or more in each match. In the finals, they would face the number 3 Alliance of 36-83, 46-78, and 48-14. Their story of the finals begins with defeating the number 6 Alliance and then knocking off the number 2 Alliance to set up a showdown with that world famous number 1 Alliance. The finals at Waterloo were intense. We were working at our shop and we stopped everything to watch these finals matches. Match 1 was very close. Both alliances engaged the rotor and autonomous, 1114 and 2056, adding a good amount of fuel. Both alliances went on to engage 3 rotors total, and the number 1 Alliance only got 2 climbs out of 2056, 1114, but the fuel they scored was enough to offset that climb and win match 1, 330 to 308. Excuse me. Match 2 was a different story. Maybe a record combined score in auto, 238 were scored in match 3. Or in the second finals match with the number 3 Alliance taking the advantage, 138 to 100. Only 2 rotors and 2 climbs for red, with 3 rotors and 3 climbs for blue, giving the number 3 Alliance the win in match 2. So a couple of fuel defaults were occurring. The airship wasn't registering the auto gear quite right, so they had a couple of replays. But when finals match 3 finally played out, it went like this. Both alliances scored a gear in autonomous. Then Intelliop, the number 1 Alliance, put all the pieces together. Finally 3 gears, finally 3 climbs, plus the KPA bonus gave the number 1 Alliance the win. So an impressive 398 to 175 win in the score there. I also need to mention, I might have skipped it, I was reading too fast, but the Blue Alliance also was one to consistently get 2 rotors and autonomous. So that's what really made those events so good. Blue couldn't keep up with the fuel 1114 2056, but they had the 2 rotor autonomous, which was a decent bonus for them. So it really made for some awesome matches. So congrats to both alliances for those hard fought finals, and a special props to 4525 on their district chairman's award.
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up there, Justin. The Blue Alliance was getting the double rotor auto, and Red Alliance was getting getting fuel scoring in auto. And it was a really cool battle. It was really good.
It was. Yeah. By the way, before we move on, I feel like, Justin, I mean, as we cover this event, we have to cheer, right?
Sure, bud.
All right,
Sure,
cheer
bud.
it. Cheer it.
I like the end part better.
All right, I'll do the beginning, and you guys can fill
Okay.
in. Water, water, water.
Lou.
Oh, we're so good at
the lag is so different. Nick is not impressed.
Desync.
I'm not impressed. Watch our subscribers fall off right now.
I'm pretty sure I only said it twice. So that brings up a good point. With all these issues, I'm really hoping they figure it out. I don't know, what is it with the I don't even know if it's FMS anymore. Is it with the FMS when things aren't registering?
For what, bud?
On the field. That's why a lot of these things, like the bonuses aren't getting awarded, and that's why they've had replays. And
my mic. Hold off on that until afterwards, because I know Ryan has some things to say from Wisconsin Regional.
I'm just saying, it was more looking towards Einstein, and if these things keep happening on Einstein, how many replays are we going to have to do?
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, on to Sacramento. So a whopping
one replays. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I know. No, so a whopping 56 teams competed this past weekend in Sacramento. Very interesting set of teams is 1678, 1323, 1671, 973, all competed at the Central Valley Regional a couple weeks ago. Taking the win at Central Valley was 1678 with 1323. However, those relationships were soon forgotten, and this time 1678 took the number 1 seed and selected 973 with their first overall pick and 2543 with their second. 1323 would select 1671 in the fourth alliance and add the help of 5012. Sometimes we say the finals kind of happen earlier in the playoffs. Kind of depends on which side of the bracket teams are on and the alliances. And it looks like we kind of saw one of those as those two alliances did play each other in the semis, and it was a number 1 alliance who would advance to the finals to play the number 2 alliance of 199, 2073, and 701. The number 1 alliance almost broke 400 points with a score of 394 in finals match 1, and would win the second match 368 to 285 for the overall win. So congrats to 1678 on their second win of the year, and to 973 and 2543 for their first win, and congrats to 1671 on the Chairman's Award. So over to the Smoky Mountains Regional. An interesting playoff bracket developed here at the Smoky Mountain Regional. Taking the number 1 seed was 1287 Aluminum Assault, coming off their finalist appearance at the Palmetto Regional. Captaining the 5th alliance was Team 48 Delphi Elite, fresh off their Miami Valley, Ohio regional win. A little confusion there. They would select 744 and 3140 to their alliance. So remember them. So back to the interesting playoffs. On the left side of the bracket, we would see number 8 alliance take down the number 1 alliance. We would see the number 5 alliance beat the number 4 alliance. 2 upsets we're seeing is kind of rare, but not so rare so much in this game. That number 5 alliance would beat the number 8 alliance. Oh, no, that's not right. Maybe it's 7. To play the number 3 alliance, who then upset the number 2 alliance on the right side of the bracket. So 2 matches was all it took. The number 5 alliance beat the number 3 alliance. Another upset with scores of 320 and 313. That's 4 out of 7 head-to-head matches, head-to-head battles that were upsets in this regional. So congrats to them and to 38-24 on the regional chairman's award.
Mike, what were you not sure about with the bracket?
I had something wrong in my script here. It said the 5 alliance would beat, and I don't know who it was.
5 beat 4, and then 5 beat 8, and then 5 beat.
Oh, 5. Okay, 5 beat 8.
Yep.
There it is.
So, alrighty, and yeah, big shout out. We know Travis is in the chat and big support of the show. So shout out to you, man. Two regional victories with some really tough defense. If you haven't seen that, by the way, 48 just bashes the crap out of people, and it's legal this year, so I'm sure they're happy about that.
This man wins his second regional and then messages me on Facebook and says, "Your turn." Oh, cool, dude. No pressure.
No pressure.
Well, and then he messages me. Apparently, he messages all of us or something. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but he's like, "Oh yeah, we won with they won a shark attack or something like that, right?" Where like the alliance we won with in 2012 was like very similar when they won with us Wave to what their alliance looks like now. So just weird draws, caveats. What you need to talk about. All right, let's move on. Are we on the last event?
I think so.
Holy crap! All right. So it was long, but we got through it, guys. Not too bad.
Oh, this is a long one too.
This is long, quite literally long. All right, so I previewed it last week, and man, did Iowa turn into a great Midwest event this past weekend. Taking the number 1 seed was our friend Sky's team, 876 Thunder Robotics. They go to pick another great team, 25-12 Duluth East Daredevils. They wrapped up with rookie team 6330. Anybody know their name?
No.
It's Team Fun. Yes.
Oh,
I called that last week. I said they were gonna rise to the top, and look at number 1 seed.
Wow.
Quarterfinals. And give this quarterfinals witness 5 occasions of 4 rotors in a match, but it was the semifinals that was as crazy as the Peachtree Albany event. I just mentioned before. Which one is it again? Is it Albany or Albany?
Albany.
All right.
It does look Albany though.
It's Albany. It's Albany down south. So that wasn't a southern accent, by the way. All right, over the other side of the bracket, the number 2 alliance 1987, 3528, and 5809 faced off against the number 3 alliance of 5690 in their line Sub-Zero Robotics, 2410 Blue Valley Caps Metal Mustang Robotics, longest team name ever, Caltran, and 4509 Pile Nerds. Fouls made the difference in the first match as the Blue Lions took match 1 of semifinal 2 with a score of 330 to 305. Well, this is where Sandy ends. There would be 5 more matches played where the alliances in every match scored 4 rotors first off. Absolutely insane. So get this. 4 rotors scored by both alliances. Match 2, 445 to 445. Match 3, 395 to 395. Match 4, 445 to 445. Match 5, the Red Alliance would be able to secure 2 rotors in auto, and with 3 robot climbs, they took that match 465 to 375. And in match 6, we saw a tough battle, but due to some unfortunate circumstances of a gear getting stuck on a peg and 5809 drawing a couple tech fall penalties, the score would be tied 445 to 445. But the Blue Lions would take the tiebreaker because of those technical fouls. So that's the tiebreaker in the semifinal match here. Remember, finals would be a little bit different. Oh, that's right. Speaking of finals, we still have finals to talk about, don't we? Finals 1, both alliances were score 4 rotors, and with 2 KPA and a couple fouls, the Red Alliance would take the first match 407 to 395. Finals 2 might be the first time I've ever seen an alliance with 4 rotors lose against an alliance that only had 3 rotors. But they only had 1 robot climbing on red. So 4 rotors, 1 robot climbing versus 3 rotors and a last-second climb by 2410, plus tacking on 50 points in tech fouls, pushed the match the Blue Alliance's favor 355 to 345. Finals 3 saw the Red Alliance take an early lead, engaging 1 rotor in autonomous, but that is where Blue just dominated and took over. Blue Alliance was able to engage 4 rotors again, and with 3 robots ready for takeoff against only 2 on red, the number 3 Blue Alliance would take the Iowa Regional with a score of 425 to 255. And Sherman's Award going to my friends on 2500 Robotics, and Enduring Inspiration going to 1987 Bronco Bots. Wow, that's a mouthful to say, guys. And of course, congratulations to Caltran on 2410 going to World Championships. Big congrats to them. And 876 going to World Championships too with the wild cards. So congratulations to those guys.
Man, those finals sound like just a crazy event.
The semifinals too.
Well, let's talk about that.
Well,
actually,
I don't understand why is it because it was in the semifinals that they just is it so many ties that they go to tiebreakers?
No, so it's in semifinals there are tiebreakers, but because if everything is exactly the same, then they replay the match, and most of the matches.
Oh, so it's exactly the same for three different matches.
Yeah, so there's no fouls, and then everything else is exactly the same, so they end up replaying it.
Oh my gosh.
Versus the one with the fouls, because it was a semis, then they award that to the team with the fouls. Now, that would be different finals. The score is tied in finals. They replay it. Up to 6 events, is that right? Anybody?
I don't know.
6 matches, I think.
6 ties?
Yeah, I think you can do up to 6 ties.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, by the way, Sky, I'm sorry. I forgot about your chairman's win before that. My apologies. But, all right, so let's talk about a couple things first with this. Ties, since we just brought that up. So one of the things that we saw last year, of course, is that a lot of people were really pissed off about the World Championships, or they were disappointed with it because, of course, it ends in a tie and somebody wins based on that. Nothing against the teams, because you guys know I love Robotics and that team for winning that. And it's one of those things. Now this year they say, okay, we're going to have ties, and well, we're going to do tiebreakers in finals, but now we have a game where it is very easy to tie if no field is scored or no fouls. It's very easy to tie in the quarters and semis as well. Right. So Ryan, let me ask you first: with this game, have we gone to a point of too extreme now? Are we seeing too many ties and too many matches played, or is it still what it should be and move forward with that?
I think I'm actually pretty surprised how few ties we've seen, based on how many different permutations are possible, especially when you take out the fuel aspect. So I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised by that. But yeah, I'm shocked. Well, I guess they probably anticipated a bit more fuel in the game, but I think we've been getting pretty lucky so far with how few ties there have been.
Yeah. But and by the way, apparently I'm corrected. There is people are saying there's no limits on ties. I think there's gonna be coin flips. All right, Mike or Justin, when you guys want to chime in, how do you feel about where ties are at right now?
I agree. I want to just echo again what Ryan said. I just can't believe there's not more. It does seem like, with so few teams utilizing fuel at this point, I'm surprised it's not happening a little bit more, but it's okay. I mean, it doesn't really. I like close matches. There's a lot of close matches, which is good, and teams that are truly exceptional can, find a way to pull away. So in that sense, I think the game is pretty well designed.
Mike,
I mean, it's interesting that you don't do. I mean, it can be decided on other factors on a tie in semifinals and quarterfinals, but arguably, I don't know, maybe the best team didn't win in that. I don't know. It's interesting.
I get what you're saying, because technically they scored less points because of the fouls, is what you're saying, or what?
True. I mean, I guess so. I mean, I guess the foul is what got them into the position to be in a tie. So
let me ask you guys.
But also playing 6 matches in the semifinals just for one side of the bracket is also a long time, So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, at what point do you say enough is enough or something like that? I'm going to take the standpoint. I totally agree. How are there not more ties? I mean, is it just because fouls and tech fouls, especially for the lane violation, is so easy to get that we're not seeing as many? I don't know what the stats are for that, but yeah, you would think you'd see plenty of matches, especially in early weeks, with lots of 305 to 305 ties. I'm surprised there's not more.
Yeah, and another thing I've noticed, you're right, it's definitely the 5-point little foul for the lane violation and that stuff, but also the mobility bonus is affecting teams as well. Like, it's another 5 points that you think is pretty easy, but some teams aren't getting it, so it's playing a factor as well.
Let me one other thing that popped in my head too, in regards to it, is that I think this will become way less prevalent the later we get, because as there's going to be more chances that we're going to have alliances that can score fuel, right? Theoretically, I would think that would be the case as we get into championships and teams are a higher caliber. And this isn't always the case by any means, but I would suspect that at championships that there's a decent chance that out of the 6 robots in the field that one of them can score fuel, and that's going to negate a tiebreaker.
Right. I'm hoping that'll, as you said, as this game progresses and gets to the bigger stage, we'll less and less ties.
Yeah.
The few that we're seeing.
So Ryan, let's go to you. One of the things we brought up before, and Mike, I know you also talked about this as well at the Ontario event, was some of these inconsistencies we're seeing once again. And some of these we've beaten to a dead horse a lot, but it's good to bring up things that are happening. And one of them was at the Wisconsin Regional that I wanted to bring up, and I'm sure Ryan can give a better story than I can for it. So Ryan, just to kind of lead you in, there was an issue in regards to teams are being awarded for 4 rotors when they actually didn't score 4 rotors.
Yeah, so also I'm hearing a little bit of audio issues, so feel free to cut me off if I am like all crackly or whatever.
Yeah, you're fine for now.
But before I go into that, talking a little bit more about the tie thing real quick,
sure,
and field issues a bit. I forgot what video it was, but there was a match. It was within one of those 6-round tie things where one of the alliances actually got 2 rotors and auto started, or they should have, and they were spinning it, and like the pilot like motioned towards the ref, like, did you see that? But it didn't count until tally-up, and that match counted as a tie. I don't know if any of you recall seeing that.
At which event, Ryan?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it was one of the events that went to like the 6-round semifinals, and that was one of the ties was caused because of the 2 rotors and auto not counting.
I'm sure somebody in chat will bring it up.
And that happened in Ontario at Waterloo too, I think.
Yeah.
Something wasn't scored, and then it ended up like going for the Blue Alliance, and then I think they changed their mind and then decided to replay the match because since real-time scoring wasn't correct, then that arguably could change your strategy for the match.
So a couple of people in chat are saying it was Iowa semifinal 2, match 6.
Match 6.
Yeah, I know, right? That's just weird.
So it was match 6. Okay.
And it did happen. Happen in Waterloo too, Waterloo.
Somebody's saying it happened at is it
maybe
Georgian? Georgian, thank you.
G College.
Georgian.
They were G College. I like that.
G-Town.
G-Town. All right. Can you go ahead, Ryan?
Yeah, with the with the Phantom fourth rotors, it appears that first within the Team Update 19 seems to have taken an action to try to prevent it by moving the gears from the sensor peg to starting in another position. But if you watch some of the videos on it happening, I guess I should explain what happens. Just kind of randomly, but more often when teams are working on the fourth rotor, they'll be awarded it prematurely. And I think the biggest effect it's had was at the Montreal regional, the semifinals, for the alliance with Tech for Kids got a red card, presumably because they thought that they were spinning up the fourth rotor prematurely, even though it was just a field fault. And you could see in the video, as they're spinning up the third rotor, the fourth rotor kicks on too. And I guess it's probably because of the vibration or whatever. But while I think moving the gears might be a good start, I'm not sure if that completely solves it. And it seems to be something that has increased, throughout the season. So maybe it's just wearing down or something. But it's certainly having effects. And it was happening quite frequently at the Wisconsin regional. And they went back and changed the outcomes of the matches that happened on Friday. But on Saturday, they weren't able to do that. And it ended up slightly affecting seeding in a little bit in the top 8 as well. So, it is having an impact, and it's not always something that's clear, especially when it's the third rotor that it's happening to.
So wait, Ryan, I just want to clarify what you said there. So they went back and changed Friday's results, but they didn't change Saturday's results?
Right. So I wasn't. This isn't all directly firsthand for me. It's from what I was hearing from the students that went to talk to the head refs, and from what we could tell from looking back at the videos.
Please don't get me started on Wisconsin head ref, but yeah.
Wisconsin. So they were. So it looked like they did change everything on Friday, but on Saturday, those matches still stood, and even one of the quarterfinal matches that had a fourth rotor, so it was the first seed's second match, and they were awarded a fourth rotor that ended up standing. And then actually our next match right after that, it was awarded to us, but I think our driver went up immediately and told him that the fourth rotor was spinning and we had not gotten it, so they were able to correct it more quickly, throwing it up to the final score.
But I mean, do they not count how many gears there are or anything to verify, or what? They just assume it's correct every time? That seems like something you could do quite quickly, especially if you knew there was an issue going on already and you went back and corrected on Friday. Why the hell would you not have somebody counting the gears manually? I mean, and I know I'm asking this rhetorically because I know you. I know you're not a event volunteer there, Ryan, but that just seems just asinine to me.
Yeah, it seemed like something that we expected to get fixed, and it did get fixed. I'm not sure if it ever happened again throughout the eliminations, but it didn't happen again after that. But yeah, certainly something you'd think would be a pretty important thing. But again, for the third rotors, I can't even tell you how many of those happened because even I didn't notice that. So
yeah,
I think I'm just worried about what's going to happen. Like I said earlier, at championship, with all eyes on the bad pegs and some field software issues, it appears like how many replays are we gonna have to, any little thing that goes wrong, we're gonna have this whole bank of replays and all the stuff that we've done at the regional level, and how much more excruciating of details are they going to be at that? I'm a little nervous that things may take a while on Einstein, but that's just my opinion.
I also thought it was interesting on the team update today. It said the boiler count is tested by putting 40 balls into the boiler and seeing what the count is plus or minus 1. So really we're in a situation where you could score more balls and legitimately beat your opponent, but the boiler didn't count it, so it's a tie and you got to play it all over again.
Could be.
Well, and the opposite happened. I know we got to move on a little bit. The opposite happened in Israel, though, right? Where people watched the video, manually counted how many balls Miscard made, and it was still impressive because they made 38, but it counted 43 or something like that. And yeah, just crazy. Sorry, somebody posted that Justin was Darth Vader.
Yeah, it seems like the pendulum swung the other way on that because it was. I think in some of the practice days, because it looks like they got it fixed, but in some of the practice days for some of the regionals I was watching, it was as bad as triple counting some of the balls, and they would always get it fixed to be somewhat reasonable by a competition day. But if the ball tolerance is plus or minus 1, I think that is a major improvement from earlier.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up for that. All right, we do have to preview a few events for Week 5 coming up. So we each picked one, and then we'll move in. Don't forget, we do have the FRC Top 25 coming up, and a couple of other things to get to just before that as well. But with that said, and sorry, Justin, I'm taking your spot here.
You're okay.
Starting out with Mike, which event are you going to be previewing for Week 5?
So I'm going to take a look at the SBPLI Long Island Regional event. So this weekend we'll see 55 teams compete in Long Island. Lots of teams have already competed this year. Mostly kind of exits in quarterfinals and semifinals, like 28-75 through 29 through 52 through 53, along a lot of others. Team to look out for would be 271, the Mechanical Marauders, who Justin and I saw compete here at the Finger Lakes Regional and took the finalist award there. Another team would be 5254 Hype, who made their presence known in the New York region this past couple of years. A lot of teams looking for that win here in the 2017 season, looking for their invite to the half champs. So good luck to all teams competing at the Long Island Regional. Justin, what do you got?
So I'm going to talk about SVR, Silicon Valley Regional. 60 teams. Obviously, 2 California heavy hitters and 254-971, but also 2468 Team Appreciate from Texas, who we've had on earlier this year, who have a great robot, are going to be there to play as well. So that's going to make a very interesting dynamic. Last year it was 254 and 1678, teaming up with 1662 to defeat 971. This year was 1678, sitting this one out, giving 254 and 971 potentially the chance to team up. And if that happens, it might be game over. But 2468 is going to certainly have a say with how this regional plays out. And I'm looking forward to watching that one this weekend.
So I'm gonna pick. I think the next obvious one is going to be the Midwest Regional, and Midwest has been one of those events where they've had a couple of the top tier teams the last few years, but I mean Midwest, back in the day was the powerhouse regional to go to, and this year
talk about that every year.
Yeah, right. But this year, I think we're going to see it. There have been some interesting add-ons for teams, some amazing teams coming in. So just to break down some of them, literally, it's just a laundry list I can go through. But just to break down, if you haven't seen the list, you have Bomb Squad, Wild Stang, Finney Robotics, just 1405. They just signed up like a week ago for it. Rolling Thunder coming in, Winnovation, Robot Casserole, Argos, Team Titanium. I mean, geez. Who do we got here? Garrett Ford, Ponage coming in. Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. Average Joe. Look at that. Average Joe's from Michigan coming out after they've had a couple strong appearances so far. This is a crazy lineup that they have here at the Midwest Regional, and this is going to be a deep event, I believe. And I think this is a must cover for us for Game Day Live. I haven't seen what their webcast is going to be like, but I think we're going to do a double header on Saturday. I think we're going to do Midwest and then head over to SVR because it's going to be. Those are two just fantastic events that we definitely have to cover.
Did you say Bomb Squad?
Yeah, Bomb Squad's back. They used to go to Midwest too, so that's not.
Oh yeah, that's a staple.
Yeah, but they have them back again. It's really cool to get them back from Arkansas. And I didn't know that Average Joes were going. I don't know if they're late add-on or if I just missed them. But that's crazy that they're coming out for the Midwest Regional too as a FIM team.
Yeah, and the All-Sparks were signed up initially, but I think they're not going anymore. 1625, I think, signed up late. I don't have the list in front of me, but from memory, that's
Innovations in. I didn't know All-Sparks were signed up, but they're not now.
Originally, they're not now.
They're not now.
They got pretty early.
But that would have really put it over top because they're having a good year too. So that
yeah, a lot of good teams. And then also kind of understated is a lot of the second-year teams like 5847. Ironclad was finalist captains at CIR. 5934 has two 338 alums, and they have a ground pickup and they big flywheel, and Wolfbite had a pretty awesome chairman's video. So I mean, there's a lot of teams that aren't even like big names quite yet that are also going to be doing pretty well.
Joliet Cyborgs, I think, were regional finals at CIR too, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So that sounds right. Yes, they were. So yeah, a lot of fantastic teams. Make sure I think Midwest is going to be on hopefully everybody's radar because it's going to be a fantastic event to be at. Yeah, crazy.
Sorry, I was busy talking to Justin.
That happens.
All right, so we're getting close here to the top 25. We just again want to thank our guest Ryan Guinn and a very Job well done. Thank you so much for being here, Ryan. Best of luck to you and the Hilltoppers this season. And we just really had a blast talking to you tonight.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. Good luck to you guys as well.
Thanks, man. Hey, Ryan, anything you want to plug at all? I didn't ask you about this ahead of time, but.
Nope, I have no online presence.
I wish, right? No.
So, Ryan, I'm going to put you on the spot, by the way. I think you know the question I'm going to ask you, though. Are we going to see any Ryan's awesome Einstein strategies of the week this year?
Oh, this is the Ryan?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Jesus.
It's tougher this year. I was going to do it live today, but I didn't quite get that going.
If you want to do it live, let me know, dude. You can stream in our channel, by the way. We'd definitely be down for that.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll do one live because even if I can't perform it, at least you could see me fail 100 times, I guess.
There you go. Well, we appreciate it, man. I know I feel like Dean when he brings up like somebody from a company. He's like, I'm going to ask you in front of everybody. You know, give us money? But yeah, no, appreciate it, man. If you can, we definitely hope to see it. It was a big hit last year, and if you can get it going again, we'd appreciate it. But as Mike said, congrats to you guys, and good luck to you this season.
Awesome, thanks so much, and love what you guys do with the show.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, so while we do transition into the top 25, we got another video back, Justin.
Yeah, it looks like the third installment of Jordan Grant is back with more questions with First Robotics kids. So let's check out that third episode.
I'm gonna weigh up like I got that power. Yeah.
Questions, episode 3. We're here with
Kevin
from team
2702.
All right, Kevin, we're gonna ask you a couple questions. Some trick questions, some regular questions, and we'll see how you do, okay?
Okay.
Here's a theoretical scenario. Team 188, they do really well this year, and they make it all the way to World Champs in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So if it's 1 o'clock here, what time is it in St. Louis?
1 o'clock. 12 o'clock?
Next question. It's 1 o'clock here, what time is it in St. Louis?
1 o'clock?
4 o'clock? 4 o'clock, eh? What time is it in St. Louis?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
12.
Okay. Who is your favorite tech CEO?
Tech CEO? I have no idea.
No favorite? Well, regardless, what does CEO stand for?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Any ideas?
Chairman Enterprise, something like that.
Probably about right.
Favorite tech CEO? I'd have to go with Larry Page.
What company?
Google.
Ah, fitting. And what does CEO stand for?
Chief Executive Officer.
Tech CEO.
Tech CEO? Musk.
Elon Musk, nice. And what does CEO stand for?
Chief Executive Officer.
What do you think CEO stands for?
Steve Jobs.
And what do you think CEO stands for?
Oh, God, that's a hard one. I don't know. Coca-Cola, egg, and orange.
Okay, so whatever he says is not going to be as funny as that, but...
Honestly, I don't know.
Any guesses what CEO stands for?
Company employee operator? I don't know.
That's actually a pretty good guess, not gonna lie. Next question is what's the best thing about being part of First?
Jordan Grant.
Aside from myself.
It's getting to give back to a program that got us where we are.
It's fun. Yeah, a lot of hard work, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
How would you compare First Robotics to like traditional sports?
I feel like this is like a race weekend, like a race car weekend. Very similar, you know, you have qualifying, you have pits that you need to do repairs in. Very comparable. Yeah, and I enjoy car racing. So
awesome. It's like different kinds of cars. They're just made by 14-year-olds.
all the skills you learn, people you meet.
We have a lot of really dedicated families, so we always get nice food, and it's just really fun being there. We have siblings on our team. It's one big family.
One big happy family. Awesome, awesome. What is the best part about being in first?
Victory over everybody else.
I would say something nicer, like meeting new people, but sure, that one works.
Whatever. Winning is cool too.
Winning is cool too. And last question is, what is one of the sketchiest things you guys have built?
It was called Nick and Devin's Pooch, and it was the sketchiest.
What? Can you say that again?
Nick and Devin's Pooch.
Okay.
It was the sketchiest gear pouch ever.
Probably our lift mechanism using very long threaded rods. There's a lot of wobble, speed wobble, so.
It's all part of the game.
Last year had a pair of pants.
Last year your robot had pants?
Last year we had a prototype where we took our 2013 robot and we duct taped the plunger to it.
Shaky connection to 610.
A connection to?
That's it.
Oh, okay, okay.
See previous episodes that perhaps you've missed, you can check him YouTube or head up his Facebook page or Twitter under @JordanGrant2012.
I can't believe so many people didn't know what CEO meant, by the way. that blew my mind, seriously. I thought that'd be a really easy question, but apparently it's not something kids talk about.
It's like the $100 question who wants to be a millionaire. Everyone should know that
right.
That's true. Apparently not many do.
one. And the Coke and eggs one, that's like the fluff answer that no one would ever pick. But that's the one that
Yeah, that's what they.
that's when they
Well, they
pick.
would have a multiple choice if it was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, let's check in with Christine actually in her drawing, and she's starting to. I know she's starting to finish that up a little bit there. So let's see if she can bring it up. We can't do the full screen yet, but
That's fine.
we'll see how quick Nick is on it. So you have the robot, by the way, Christine. Can you kind of explain why the robot's in that orientation?
Yeah, so they would start the match vertically and then drop horizontally and grab all three of the goals. And once they locked on, I think one of the game announcers says in one of their matches, once they lock on, you can't stop Hammond. And it was absolutely true. And they just inched their way down the field and never let go.
then there is like a little tape measure thing, right, to get the technically back in the zone.
Yeah, you had a lot of teams were just a tape measure with a motor on it, just like wheel out something across the field. Christine, do you remember Wild Stings?
Yeah,
that they had, that was crazy. They had a spring-loaded tube that would come out at the end of the match, and so the match would be over. This is probably where that 5 seconds after the end of the match thing came from, because the match would be over and the tongue would just hit the ground and slowly unfold over 10 to 15 seconds after the end of the match as it goes to the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Digressing.
That was a little before my time. I didn't get to see those live.
Well, and this one, by the way, was the last year before autonomous mode. So literally the robot would start like that. They'd say, you'd be behind the line. They'd say 3, 2, 1, go. And you have to hit the controllers as fast as possible to get that robot down and running. That robot would slam on the ground. And then Christine, can you describe what's on the bottom of that robot? Something that you don't hear about too much anymore.
Yeah, so they had, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had carpet grippers that would just lock into the carpet and inch them along.
Yeah, they were metal foul cards. Yeah.
It just had wheels to get started, right? It didn't use the wheels after that point.
Correct. Yeah. They. Yeah. So it would get started, and I know. By the way, if you know, I think Amanda Morrison was the driver that year, and Kevin Kaloje, who we just talked about from UPS a little bit ago, he was the operator that year. So just crazy times going back, and yeah, literally it would hit the ground, and this thing would chug forward at what, a foot per 5 seconds or
Nick's
something like
got
that.
it.
Yeah, Nick, can you bring up this video here? Let's.
And Amanda Morrison works for Vex now, right? That's what we're talking about? Yeah.
IFI of some sort. I don't remember if it's Vex.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, IFI.
Is this the era of 1, 2, 3 go?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
Here they go. So there's a race to the middle.
So this is the one that actually Beatty didn't make it first. But just watch what happened. This is literally the match. It's like they have all three, and then once they get their foul cards going,
boom,
they just
foul
start
card.
Yep. You see, it's literally, we don't need to watch this whole thing because it's literally like a minute and 30 seconds of this robot just inching forward as these other robots are just futile in trying to get.
Remember when the chat was complaining that Steamworks is a bad game?
They had no idea.
So, Nick, at some point, I'd like you to bring up Finals 2 of the Midwest Regional because I want to. We can do this at the end of the show, but I do want to tell a story about that because it's one of the most epic finals. Epic failure finals ever, but we can bring that up a little bit later. So Christine, we'll check back in with that drawing as you finish that up, and don't forget if you're interested in winning this sweet drawing sent to you, to make sure that you click that follow. We'd love to have you just follow regardless, but you do get a chance to win the drawing as an extra bonus perk, or if you really love what's going on here on First Updates Now, you can subscribe to us. It's either for free through Twitch Prime. Just a reminder, if you do have Twitch Prime, you have to resubscribe every month. You get a credit each month. So make sure you check. If you've been on Twitch Prime, make sure you click that little subscribe button and make sure that you're not eligible to resubscribe, and make sure you do that if you do. Otherwise, if you don't have Twitch Prime, it's only a few bucks a month. You get subscriber benefits. We do have a subscriber night coming up on Monday. We're going to be doing it a little bit different than last time, but we do have actually, nobody claimed the prize from last week, so I think we're going to re-give that out on subscriber night for our subs only. So that will be absolutely fantastic. So Christine, we'll check back in with you after the FRC Top 25.
Oh, she gone.
Let's get to it.
All right, so this is it, man. We're gonna head into week 4 through 4 weeks of competition, and again, these teams that we're gonna talk about here competed just this last week and this last week only. We're starting to see some more teams kind of debut here, so it's exciting to kind of see where everybody kind of shakes out. A lot of competitions, like we said, were played this weekend. So that being said, Justin, let's do it, man.
I'm ready to go. Kind of.
Kind of. By kind of, you mean no. That's all right.
Okay, now I'm ready to go. So kicking off week 4 of the FRC Top 25 is team number 125.
From Boston, Massachusetts, Brookline, and Revere High Schools, it's the Neutrons. An overall record of 34-20. They were finalists at the South Florida and Greater Boston events. So still looking for that first win. The Neutrons took the field for the second time in the New England District, the third event overall at the Rhode Island District event this past weekend, ranking third overall. They captained that third alliance and selected 58-46 and 66-20 to their alliance. Advancing through the quarterfinals, they would play the sixth alliance in the finals, but would fall short in 3 matches. With over 50 matches played so far in Steamworks, they have yet another district event to play before district champs, and then hopefully, and yes, for sure, half champs after that. So it's been great watching the Neutrons. They've really have inspired a lot of teams so far with kind of their ingenuitive design in their robot. It's been exciting to watch them. Christine, any thoughts about this past weekend at Rhode Island?
Yeah, we definitely had a rocky end to the event. We ran into a lot of mysterious robot issues that, as soon as we got knocked out in the semis by a really, surprisingly tough alliance, we went right to the pit, and the kids, worked on the robot for the last hour to 2 hours that the event was there and found some really deep hidden problems that we're looking to fix this weekend at Pine Tree before district championships. So kids are even more motivated, and we're looking forward to another event this weekend.
That's great.
And you're going to set the record for most FRC matches ever played in the singles.
Yeah,
That's how we like to do it.
That's right.
Was it you guys last year or somebody? Was it 195? Somebody had a bunch.
Yes, somebody had it last year. I promise you.
It was like over. Oh, I know that. Okay. Shut it. All right, so moving on to the 24th, we have team 45-25.
From St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada, St. Joseph's Catholic High School, it's Renaissance Robotics. Overall record of 23-10, semifinalists at the Durham and Waterloo district events. So Renaissance Robotics is placed in the top 5 twice this year, and this past weekend at the Waterloo event, they ranked 5th and were selected 2nd overall. Deliver gear and auto, and then head out to midfield and continue to cycle with a solid climb at the end. Now, they struggled to get to the semifinals yet again, but we all know that the Ontario district events are tough, and they'll have a really successful robot for the district championship later this year. So good luck and congrats to 45-25 Renaissance Robotics.
Zach Schofield is in the chat. Is this hat robot? It must be.
The hat?
The hat. Remember
from
the
one with Copioli?
Oh no, that was two.
Or no?
What year was that? Yeah, it was the Copioli, but
What was that, Nick?
2014.
That was 2014.
2014.
And that team was around that year. Hat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I forgot about that. Yep.
Can't confirm.
Can't confirm. All right. Go for it, Jay.
All right, 23rd ranked team this week is team number 1241.
From Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rick Hansen Secondary School. It's Theory 6 with a 2017 record of 20-14. They were the semifinalists at the Ryerson and Georgian events. I just saw that corner of my eye. Zach put, where's my hat? Paul Copioli. So Theory 6 ranked 9th this past weekend at the Georgian event and were taken by 1325 to join the 5th Alliance. From here, they took out the 4th Alliance in the quarterfinals, but fell to the number 1 seed in the semis. Theory 6 has a nice ground intake for being pretty narrow for fuel intake. They can score in the high efficiency bowler and auto, and they can deliver gears and climb with ease. They'll compete again at the Windsor Essex Great Lakes District event before heading over to District Champs. So good luck to Theory 6. From there, we'll move on to the 22nd ranked team, and that is a team that is being drawn right now. It's Team 71.
From Hammond, Indiana, Hammond City Schools, it's Team Hammond, or as we like to call them, the Beatty Beast. With an overall record of 23-11, they're the finalists at the Perry Meridian District event. So after the quarterfinal exit at St. Joseph's earlier this year, Team Hammond fired back and took the number 1 seed at Perry Meridian. They selected 15-29 and 17-20 to their alliance. Their gear delivery and auto and fast cycles helped them get to the finals. They would face the number 2 alliance. In the finals 1, both teams would get 4 rotors going, but the number 2 alliance would take the match and the one to follow. So welcome to the top 25 after a bit of an absence to Team 71, and good luck to the Indiana District Championships.
Yeah, I remember the last time they were here.
I don't know. I was going to say they might have been last year because they did have a couple deeper runs, but I don't remember. They would have been really late in the polls or really early, for that. But it's good to see 71 last year. It seemed like they had a little bit of resurgence last year, and now they're definitely starting to make a much bigger resurgence. We just got to get them to win the district. They've been number 1 seed twice. Now I believe they've been number 1 seed twice off the top of my head, but now we just got to get them over the top. But yeah, good to see 71 coming back. It brings back my childhood years for sure.
You.
All right, moving right along to the 21st ranked team this week is team number 48.
From Warren, Ohio, Warren G. Harding High School, it's the Delphi Elite with an overall record of 27-9-2. They were winners of the Miami Valley and Smoky Mountains regionals.
You keep
going. That's all right. It's only our 4th week. After I was waiting for Travis to type back.
There's a 20-second delay, Mike.
I know. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He won. Oh, he won, so it wouldn't be blarg this time. So anyways, after appearing in the top 25 a couple of weeks ago after their first win at the Miami Valley Regional, they ranked 6th overall this past weekend and were kept in the 5th Alliance. 48 places a gear and auto, cycles, gears, and teleop, and hangs at the end, just like everybody else. In the finals, they would beat the number 3 Alliance for their 2nd regional win of the year and 3rd banner, thanks to their regional chairman's award at the Miami Valley Regional. So heck of a year for the Delphi Elite this year. And congratulations to Travis and the team. It's always great seeing you guys at events. So good luck the rest of the way.
Delphi Elite.
Boring old us. Oh, it was EI? I thought it was chairman. All right, EI. Well, congratulations anyway, Travis. You can have that orange medal then.
There. It is orange too. They have a Woody Flowers Finals Award banner.
Oh, gotcha.
The 3rd banner.
Oh, that's what I don't know why I read that wrong. Oh, so a really good year. Yeah. So 2 regional wins, an engineering inspiration, and a Woody Flowers Finals Award. Wow.
Impressive.
For sure. So congrats. So that was 21. Moving on to 20. We're going to hear about team 2013.
From Clearview Township, Ontario, Canada, it's the Cyber Gnomes. Overall record of 13-15-1. They're quarterfinals at the Durham and G-Town events. The Cyber Gnomes take the 20th spot at FRCTop25 after 2 quarterfinal outings. Shows you kind of how our voters view the team more than just how they finish. They're a quick robot who can pick up gears off the floor, which make their cycles even faster. The greater improvement in their first event, which was where they ranked 31st, jumped up all the way to 6th. So this team has one more district event, North Bay, to earn that spot at the district champs. So good luck and congrats to the Cybergnomes 2013. Team numbers that are the same as like recent years are just kind of tough to say.
It is, yeah.
So from 20 to 19, we'll talk about team 25-12.
From Duluth, Minnesota, and East Senior High School, it's the Duluth East Daredevils. An overall record of 21-10. They were finalists at the Northern Lights and the Iowa Regionals. So after almost squeaking out a win at the Northern Lights Regional, the Daredevils were back this past weekend at the Iowa Regional. They picked up a wild card at that first event, so pressure was kind of off to qualify for half champs. However, that win still feels good. So they seeded 7th, but were selected first overall, and the Alliance advanced easily and picked up the win in finals match number 1, but still couldn't put together another win and ended up with another finalist silver medal, orange medal. So good luck to them, and good luck in St. Louis where they'll be competing, and good luck to them. So moving on to our 18th ranked team, we have team 696.
From La Crescenta, California, Anderson W. Clark Magna High School. It's the Circuit Breakers. 2017 record of 15-2, winners of the Los Angeles Regional. You were going to go, weren't you?
Nope.
Ooh, somebody took a breath like they're going to go.
I may have taken a breath, but...
Circuit Breakers appeared for the first time this season at LA this past weekend. A quick robot, passive gear mech, and can hang as well. Seeded first and selected the Alliance. They went to 3 matches, the semifinals and the finals, and that held up to take the win. So congrats to them and good luck to them at the Arizona West Regional next weekend. The 696, the Circuit Breakers. The other team that really likes that white powder coat.
Yes.
So one thing I just want to jump in here that I think is interesting, and we talked about this a little bit earlier before the show, is with when you have so many events that we're going to have, there's 2 things that happen typically, and we've seen this the last couple of years, is that usually because this week there was 27 events, 20 if you count ISR champs, but that will be next week. And so 2 things happen. One, we're going to get a lot of teams that haven't been on the top 25 yet this year, which is really cool to start seeing. And then we're also going to get a concentrated amount of teams. So keep that in mind as we go into the top 25. It will be interesting to see how the final ones work out, especially as we get into the top 10.
Yeah. All right, we'll move to the 17th and talk about 49-76.
From Georgetown, Ontario, Canada, Georgetown District High School, it's the Rebels. An overall record of 16-5. They were winners of the G-Town District event. That's great. We have H&H, we got G-Town, we got them all. Taking the number 1 seed overall with a 1.75 ranking score average, they assembled their alliance and headed into the playoffs, taking it to 3 matches in the semifinals and a DQ in finals match 3. The Rebels took home the district win. They will play again at the McMaster event, looking to take home that second win of the year. So good luck and congratulations to 49-76, the Rebels. All right, moving on to our 16th place team. We have team number 2410.
From Overland Park, Kansas, Blue Valley Center for Professional Studies, it's the Blue Valley Caps Metal Mustangs. With overall record of 18-10-3, they're winners of the Iowa Regional. So competing once already this season and taking next in the quarterfinals, look to bounce back this past weekend at the Iowa Regional. Finishing 4th, they were selected to the 3rd Alliance with the help of their swerve drive for a great field maneuverability. Fast cycles are the key to success for 24-10. The Alliance went to, as we talked about, 6 matches in the semifinals, 3 straight ties, and match 3, and then 3 matches in the finals to eventually take the win. So they certainly deserved it. An 11-match elimination match marathon, and congrats to 24-10, the Metal Mustangs, and good luck in St. Louis.
But by the way, I put a Caltrain because their team name is way too freaking long to put into our top 25 field there. But but somebody said we could do BV Caps MMR, I guess. So remember that for next time.
All right. If there is a next time.
Oh.
Shots fired. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
All right, cruising along here. Justin's up. He doesn't even know.
I do. 15th ranked team this week is Team 1285.
What did he say? Wow, that was subtle. How did I just said that? Unless I said something else snarky. Anyways, 1285, the Big Bang from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Rick Hansen Secondary School. It's the Big Bang with an overall record of 29-10-1. They were the winners of the Durham College District event. So fresh off their win at their first event, Big Bang looked for another win this past weekend at the G-Town event. They placed second overall with a 1.75 ranking score average, and they would captain the second alliance and would select 865 and 4152 to their alliance. 3 matches in the quarterfinals, and they would advance, 2 in the semis, and a DQ in finals match 3, which we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, would unfortunately see their fate at this district event as they walked away as finalists. They do have one more event at Windsor, Essex, Great Lakes, to see if they can get that second one of the year before heading to district champs. So good luck to them. And I think people in the chat were looking for these guys to be a little bit higher, or I think maybe at this level. So congrats to them, and show them that they can hold their weight up there in Canada.
Yeah, it's funny to me, the dynamic between 1285 and 1241. I know they're sister teams, and Mike and I are familiar with that. It was, when we were at Team 340, we had another team at our high school at the same time as well. So last year, I think 1241 had a little advantage in the robot sense over 1285. But this year, it looks like the tables may have turned a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It's definitely a cool dynamic, yeah.
I say chat's posting the longest team names, and apparently there's a 326's team. Wow, I can't even read this. Super Power Matic Frame, blah, blah. I can't, my text is too small to read that. And apparently there's another one. So it's 326 and 6504. So take a look at those two teams. We want some long team names, by the way. That's why we're jumping in on that.
Yikes. I really don't like that team name at all.
Which one?
The long one.
There's 2 of them.
Who is it? 3. Yeah. 326. Oh, they're not a team anymore.
Well, that's why, huh?
As we all look them up.
I was about to pop them anyway, so it's whatever.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Except in Blue Lines, just goes all the way up.
I know.
All right. Where are we? I'm in the wrong one. All right. Thanks, Nick. We're on our 14th ranked team. That's team 5406.
From Hannon, Ontario, Canada, Bishop Ryan Catholic Secondary School, it's Celtex with a record of 20-14. They're the winners of the G-Town District event. So in the opposite alliance that we just talked about, Celtex ranked 3rd overall and were selected first to the number 1 alliance. Delivering a gear and auto and then doing what everyone else does to be successful was a ticket for them, taking the win in 3 matches in the finals. So we're talking about gears, we're talking about climbing. 2 medals of the year so far, won the Engineering Inspiration Award at Vic Park. Good luck at the McMaster event, shaping up to be a really good one and a great season so far for 5406 Celtex.
Yeah, we've talked about them a lot in the last couple of years up there.
I read that Celtex, by the way.
Celtex? Oh boy, here we go.
Celtex.
Tyler, do you have to question everything we say?
Yes. Did you not see me at Kennedy speaking yesterday?
Justin, this was a lot easier when it was just us two, wasn't it?
All right, going on mute. See ya.
Bye.
No,
we got Nick in our ear that nobody can hear. We got Tyler that's giving us a hard time. Tor 551 says I'm right, so.
Okay.
All right, I'll shut up then. Let's go.
Okay, thank you.
We don't need any more help derailing ourselves.
That's true.
Plenty.
I think I would know that.
Oh man, all the Canadians are helping us out with pronunciation.
Oh sure, just great people.
Oh, sure. All right, buddy.
Nick gets so upset.
Nick, our producer, is like, let's go. Move on.
Moving on.
We said we were making great time during the recaps. He said, keep it up.
Oh, we both did send Trump out. Funny stuff. All right. 14-13, 1987.
From Lee Summit, Missouri, Lee Summit North High School on the other side of their wall is the Bronco Bots. With an overall record of 23-6-3, they were the winners at the Greater Kansas City Regional. So coming out strong in their first regional a couple weeks ago, they look to keep that streak alive at the Iowa Regional this past weekend. They ranked second and captained that seed. I mentioned earlier that 6th semifinal match, and the Bronco Bots were on the losing end of that incredible battle. 1987 places a gear and auto and uses their turret to take some shots. A well-built machine, and we'll see them in St. Louis. And congrats to them as well this weekend, picking up the Engineering Inspiration Award to go with their winners at the Greater Kansas City. So that is 1987, the Bronco Bots.
Bronco.
Bronco bot. So moving on to our 12th ranked team, it's team 4678.
Oh, Breslau, Ontario, Canada. Woodland Christian High School is the Cyber Cavs with an overall record of 13-6, finals at the Waterloo event. So the first time seeing the Cyber Cavs this year, they placed 9th at the Waterloo event. They would be picked by the 3rd alliance into the elimination rounds and would beat the number 6 and number 2 alliances in the way to the finals. They took it to 3 matches against the heavily favored number 1 alliance. And like I talked about, we watched every one of these matches, and it really could have gone either way. So great feat for them, and another great year so far for the Cyber Cavs. If you haven't checked them out yet this season, you can watch them at the North Bay District event. Just a really great team, and kind of one of the teams that snuck up on us a little bit the past few years. Last year, going all the way to Einstein. So really an incredible team that deserves perhaps a little bit more recognition.
Okey-doke. Where are we?
All right.
Oh, you're fine. Somebody just died.
Dead.
Canada updates now. Yeah, pretty much. It's like it's just like last year, guys. It was Waterloo updates now when it was only Waterloo.
Oh yeah,
There's
that's right.
2 Canada events going on. It's probably gonna be the same damn thing. Just the way it's gonna be.
I'm okay with that.
Don't forget, resubscribe, especially to Twitch Prime. Hurry up, do it. All right.
I just did. I had to resubscribe.
Bam. All right. Thank you, sir.
Do I have to?
So rig it. Let me
if
win
using
this.
Twitch Prime, you have to do it. You get a credit each month, and then you have to resubscribe to the channel each month. So
yes.
whenever that's up, you just check and you can.
You
can
click
do
the
it.
subscribe
Otherwise-
and it says not yet.
Oh, it's just pay. Was it $5 a month that Twitch charges?
Yeah, for
Just do
21
that.
months
It's
that
a lot-
Justin signed
it's a lot
up for.
easier. Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
So true. All right. One more before we take a quick break.
To the 11th ranked team, team number 2168.
From Groton, Connecticut, Robert E. Fitch High School is the Aluminum Falcons with an overall record of 46-10. They were the winners at the Southeast Massachusetts, Bridgewater, Raritan, and Rhode Island district events. So 3 district wins, 2 in New England, 1 in Mar. The most recent success was at the Rhode Island event where they ranked first. Their strong play and experience showed as they cruised through the eliminations in 6 matches, scoring 449 points or more 5 out of 6 times in eliminations, breaking the 500-point mark right at 500 actually, but did have help from 50 points in penalties. So an incredible season so far to the Aluminum Falcons as they head into the New England District Championships. I don't know if Christine's still there. Do you have any contact with 2168, and can you talk about them at all?
Yeah, so last year they were our 3rd alliance partner when we won New England District Championships, and they've definitely grown off of that, success from last year and totally exploded in New England. They're super quick with the gear delivery, but what really sealed the deal for them at this past district event at Rhode Island was being able to score, I think it was maybe like 6 fuel in autonomous after dropping off a gear. So that was just a huge addition to their alliance, and their 3rd pick was a total steal. A rookie team that was putting up maybe like 2 or 3 gears per match, and the whole alliance was incredibly cohesive. So overall between match play and scouting, they totally nailed it this past weekend.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Does that bring us to our top 10?
It does. Top 10.
All right. Can we take a quick break and go through top alliances of the week?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. And while we're doing that, actually, Nick has the 2002 match that I was talking about. So we'll have him play that while I'm talking about the top 5 events. And then as we get to the end of the match, we'll kind of break down this a little bit. So this is from the 2002 Midwest Regional Finals 2 match. So Nick, if I can have you transition over that, and I'll start talking. Just have the volume on mute while we're going through this, if you don't mind. I don't know, can I talk during
versus 71?
Can I talk during this time or no? I don't think I can. I can? Awesome. So sorry guys. All right. So this is Wild Sting and Technocats versus 71, and I forget who their alliance partner is, but you'll be able to see it.
Oh, there they go. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. All right. So while this is 519, there you go. So and you played. It was 2-on-2, so you played your third robot every other match essentially. All right. So top 5 teams. this week are going to be at number 5, the Ontario G-Town District event, 4976, 5406, 3560. Number 4, Smoky Mountains Regional, 48, 744, 3140. In number 3, the Rocket City Regional, 180, 179, and 3959. In second, Iowa Regional, 5690, 2410, 4506. And in number 1, probably not too much of a surprise. Actually, surprised not to see Sacramento on here personally. But the Ontario District Waterloo event, 2056, 1114, and 6481. And once again, you can select which event you feel had the best winning alliance when you vote for the top 25. A little bit less on votes this week, at about 150 or something, I believe. So, but with so many people out at events, that's kind of what we expect too. By the way, if you see, that was Andy Baker coaching on the background on one side, and then on 45 side, so you see some old faces. So, long story short, in this game, depending what zone you were in, you got points. So if your robot ended in your home zone, which is the first quadrant, 45, 111, 519 are, you got points for your robot being in that. But here's the kicker. You're going to see them all flipping out here. So at the time, the event, I think the match was tied. It was really close. And what ended up happening, my man Kevin Cloje there, by the way, in there. Amanda Morrison, I don't think actually was on the drive team that year. I'm misquoting that. So 111 Wildstang, they essentially had the event tied up or won. And the way that the zones were worked out, Nick, can you rewind just a little bit for me if you don't mind? The way that it was tied up, you got 1 point per soccer ball for the goals, but they end up dumping the soccer balls into the goal that gave the other alliance points and won them the regional. Oh. So this is like one of the biggest flubs I've ever seen of all time. And as we get closer, watch when they put it in. You'll see the people on Technocats with Baker in the background just flipping out because they just realized that just lost them the regional event by doing that.
Wow.
It's an epic tug of war here.
So I'm also saying this is the first. This is why, like, when they're zooming in on like the lights like that, we see that still like on our webcast. Like, what are you showing me right there?
They're showing you some badass police flights. That's what they're showing.
That's what
those are the best.
We still get that. Like, it's cool. This is where we came from, the roots, man. Well, I mean, it was years before this too, though. But
there was.
Yeah.
No, look at the Alliance station. It's literally empty on half of it. Like, you don't see that anymore. It just looks so crazy. And if you go back, I would also recommend, if you want a good way back when time machine, ESPN actually used to have the first championships back in like 1996 on ESPN.
Yeah.
Those are archived as well. So, but once again, Andy Baker in that background, you saw that there. And you got to point out the old RF flight sticks that a lot of teams are using. Those are the best. Yeah. Enough of me being old. So hold on, one more. We just gotta watch this replay of the this time ticks out of Baker and 45 just flipping out. So right now they have 2 robots both in their home zone, so they're getting the points for that. 519 and Beatty are not getting the points. Actually, I think 519 is giving them points. So look at them freak out. No.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah.
They just realized. So 111 put those balls in there. Oh my goodness. All right, enough of that. Enough nostalgia for today.
For today.
CH flight sticks, by the way. I think it's
cool. That was like when you talk about, I don't know if we want to embarrass these teams. I kind of don't, but it's interesting. It's an interesting discussion nonetheless. Does anybody know of any other like pretty impressive first flubs that have like, big mistakes that teams have made like that? One that comes to mind for me was 2009. Beaverworks came to the Finger Lakes Regional, and they were pretty good. I think they ranked like 9th or 10th, and they had decided to decline invitation from the Refor Alliance.
Oh yeah, that's
assuming that they would get bumped up, and just the pickings did not go their way, and they declined the invitation and ended up setting themselves out of the elimination rounds.
Yeah, I forget where they were ranked. Did you say that? I forget where they were.
I don't remember. I want to say it
on
was
the
like
bubble
11,
somewhere,
like
11. Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
The rankings.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, I think about that a lot actually.
Yeah, sure. Okay, you want to hit the top 10?
Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it. And our 10th place team will be Team 876.
From Hatton Northwood, North Dakota, Hatton Northwood High School is Thunder Robotics. Overall record of 21-10. They were the finalists at the Northern Lights and Iowa Regionals. So back in early March, Thunder Robotics took the win. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Chairman's
at Northern Lights.
Oh, because I just said that they were finalists twice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
876 took Chairman's at Northern Lights and were finalists that time.
Dude, okay, I couldn't read then.
Too many banners.
Sorry,
Too many
Sky.
banners.
So going from ranked 41st, they ranked first this past weekend at the I Regional, selecting their alliance. They had eliminations, 2 matches in the quarters, 2 matches in the semifinals, and it was on to the finals for them. Scoring 407 right out of the gate. Unfortunately, they couldn't put together another win, lost the next 2, but still a great robot and an awesome showing so far from Thunder Robotics. 2 finalist medals, the Regional Chairman's Award, which qualifies them for half champs. So good luck to them as they compete in St. Louis.
Yeah, I realized today that we're not going to see 987 at championship, and we're not going to see Travis.
Yeah.
Not Travis.
Trent.
Trent. Yeah.
Yeah, Trent.
And I got really sad.
Yeah, it's not good.
With that depressing moment, let's move on.
Let's move on.
All right, into the single digits here at 9, we'll talk about 3683.
From Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, St. David Catholic Secondary School, it's Team Dave. A record of 23-13-1. They were finalists at the Waterloo District event. So after an outing in the semifinals at the Durham College event, they looked to improve this past weekend in Waterloo. They did by ranking 4th and would captain that third alliance. Placing a gear with ease and auto, they cycle the rest of the match and hang there at the end. As mentioned, they took the favorited number 1 alliance to 3 matches. Much help to the double rotor auto like we talked about in the nice cycles. So congrats to them and good luck at the district champs to Team Dave. Yeah, it was definitely exciting to watch. And we had, like we said, we had talked about that earlier, just the double rotor auto versus KPA auto and kind of how that shaped out and throughout the match. It's just it was a classic Canadian event. So congrats.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so moving on to our 8th ranked team. That'll be Team 179.
From Riviera Beach, Florida, Inlet Grove and Suncoast High School is the Children of the Swamp. So, I don't have their stats so far. My bad. 19-10 overall with the winners of the Rocket City Regional. So starting their season in South Florida, kind of the theme of the past few teams we've talked about has been kind of an early mishap or an unfortunate result in their first event, and the same holds true here for 179, losing the quarterfinals at South Florida, but having a great rebound this past weekend at Rocket City. So they ranked 14th overall at Rocket City. They were selected 2nd overall to the number 2 alliance, joining 180 and 39.59, and that alliance was able to advance all the way to the finals, winning against number 5 alliance in 2 straight matches, putting up 447 in finals match 1, getting that epic 4-rotor bonus. So, Mike, I know the past few teams we've talked about, it's been like a rough start, and then a great jump and a much higher finish for these next few teams, or these last few teams anyway.
So, I mean, why do you think that is? Is it because the game has just evolved into perfecting your drivetrain and gear manipulation and gear delivery? Just because there's less to focus on if you're not doing any fuel at all? Do you think do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, I think there's a big, certainly that plays a part of it, but these teams that we're talking about are not new teams, right? 179, Team Dave, Thunder Robotics, Aluminum Falcons, even though they've been very successful. But the past few teams we've talked about, they're good teams. So it's kind of like part of it. I was always like, it's only a matter of time until they figure it out. And 179 certainly fits that category.
Yeah, I mean, and it obviously the more time you have with your robot, the more it's been played with, the better you'll get. Like that's it. I'm wondering if there's also a side aspect to it, is to really improve your robot this year. You don't have to work on much. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Cool. From one Florida team to the next.
At 7, we'll talk about 180.
From Stuart, Florida, Martin County and Jensen Beach High Schools, it's SPAM. An overall record of 29-3. They were the winners at the Orlando and Rocket City Regionals. So SPAM ranked 1st and 2nd at their respective events this year, and have won both from those alliances. SPAM is always a #solid team from Florida, and proving that again this year. And to be ranked up here at 7th for them is just a huge accomplishment. 2 regional wins this year, only 3 losses on the year total. Heck of a year for Spam so far, and good luck to them going forward.
Yeah, and not to mention adding a Regional Engineering Inspiration Award as well this past weekend at Rocket City. So certainly a great year for them so far.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. From 7 to 6, we'll hear from another beach team, Team 330.
From Hermosa Beach, California, Hope Chapel Academy, it's the Beach Bots. Teamwork's record of 13-4, the winners of the Los Angeles Regional. So the Beach Bots always find a unique way to play FRC games. This year is no exception, referring mostly to the English that human player puts on the gear. Pretty much get it right next to the opposing alliance airship. It's impressive if you haven't checked it out. So the ground intake then is crucial. The fast cycles make them extremely successful. Being selected first overall, it took them 8 matches to seal the win, but they did it, and we'll see them again at the Arizona West Regional. It's the same event that the counterpart, number 1 seed, will also be at, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to team up again.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. At least the one match I watched. I mean, I'm assuming they do it every match. Just they kind of get their gear out. It's got like spin on it, and it was like rolling on its edge over, and they picked it kind of up on the back side of the airship, so it kind of gets them away from that congestion. They can come around the backside where teams aren't defending and kind of pick up the gear from over there. So
and that was one of the that idea of being able to kind of launch the gear out of the slot was a big reason why we went with a gear ground pickup as well. We just didn't want to be tied into that single
getting
location.
Close right there. Yeah.
Yep.
So cool. We're really, I mean, like I said, unique way to play, and even finding these little nuances, whether they're design wise isn't that unique, but finding these little hidden gems within a game that you can pull off really is what separates these good teams from the great teams.
Yeah, and if you're looking at an example of 330 playing the game very unique, just like at 2015 with their triple stack or the triple can on the double stack thing, was also very interesting as well.
Whether on purpose or not, the fact that they could write themselves last year, huge. So it's always very cool what they come up with.
All right, going to the top 5 here. Oh, yep, and talk about Team 973.
From Atascadero, California, Atascadero High School. It's the Greybots. They're 27-1 overall, and we're the winners at the Sacramento Regional. So after starting the season at Central Valley, where they ended up as semifinalists, 973 worked hard on their shooter and increased their accuracy. They really needed another field bot to make them unstoppable, and that's exactly what they got with 1678, who picked them first overall. And the duo, along with 2543, was just unstoppable from there. Winning the event without suffering a playoff loss, just impressive feat and great season so far. And that will continue at Houston half champs. So good luck to 973, the Greybots. Cool.
Try to really help you out there phonetically with that one.
Almost it's too many T's.
Atascadero.
A task. I should just take this out.
Should have gotten rid of that T. Yep. Atascadero.
Now I got you.
We got it.
All right. From 5 to 4, we'll talk about 1619.
From Longmont, Colorado, it's Upper Creek Robotics, 26-7 overall, the winners of the Colorado Regional. So if you're coming up just short at the Utah Regional earlier this year, 1619 set their paddles on the Colorado Regional. They claimed the top spot with their impressive fuel scoring machine, getting the 40 KP bonus in 9 of their 11 qualification matches. We're going to get a fuel thread picked up here real quick. They picked up a solid alliance, #solid, and were able to dominate the playoffs en route to their first regional win of the season. So tune their machine and get ready for their first half champ at Houston, where they'll look to reach the Einstein field for perhaps the first time. I really worked hard to get a lot of creek and paddle and stream puns in there. I couldn't. It was really disappointing for me.
I thought it was pretty good.
Paddle's the only one I could come up with. I wanted more, but I just wasn't there for me today.
So, one thing to mention that was kind of interesting about Upper Creek at the Colorado Regional is in Finals 1, they got the KPA bonus, but not the rotor bonus. And then in Finals 2, their alliance got the rotor bonus, but not the KPA bonus. So, and actually in Finals 2, they didn't score any KPA. So that's a really odd shift in strategy when they've already won the first match.
Yeah,
I wonder why they shifted to do something else when they were already won that match. I mean, they won their first match by 153, and then they won their second match by 197.
Yeah.
So we can maybe take this time, or maybe we can talk about it at the end. There's a lot of talk right now about the voting and biases and stuff.
Sorry,
Shocker.
1619 shooter is broken in Final Two. That makes sense then.
So where are we at? Number 3? I guess we could do it here.
Talk about
We feel, maybe I'll talk with me. I know Justin and I in the past have talked about, we understand that there's going to be, based on our viewers and where they're located, we know we have big viewership in Michigan, in Canada, in California, in Israel this year. We know we have these like locations that are a little higher density of viewers. We understand that. Like, we don't want you guys to not vote based on that, or vice versa. We kind of want you to vote based on what you know. Like, we want you to have a good-hearted effort at looking kind of briefly around the first community and seeing what teams have competed and kind of where they are. But if you're a little bit biased in your area, we feel that, or I think we do, we feel that that's okay. That as long as we have enough voters across the country to kind of even out those imbalances. So if you're from an area that isn't well represented, that's even kind of more reason to vote. Is to not to just vote based on those teams that are in that area, but to vote based on what you know, but also take a quick peek at what's going on in all of FRC. So I don't know if you guys want to add to anything about that.
Because I just think a lot of people view it as, I don't know enough teams, so I'm not going to vote. But other people are not that, I guess, aware of their own biases, right? So if you're in California and say, I don't really know enough teams to vote, so I'm not going to vote. But someone in New York says, I know New York teams really well, I'm going to vote for all New York teams. We need your California votes to kind of cancel those people out. So even if your area is all you know, it's okay to vote for those teams, because someone in New York is voting for only New York teams, and someone in Florida is voting for only Florida teams. So regardless of whether you know all the teams in all of FRC or not, it's important to get your vote out there. And
the truth is, it's not going to be perfect. Even if we did bring back the extra poll, which we will at the end of the year, it's going to help maybe balance things to what you cognitively feel is. But all these people are saying, this team is either underrated or overrated. It's like, none of us have watched every single event. Even between the three of us here, we divvy up the events between the three of us the best that we can. And there's so many damn events nowadays. It's just hard to really tell where that's going to be. And so that's why we're leaving to the community right now. We feel that, we are getting a decent amount of votes. The funny thing is, typically the more events that there are, the less votes we get, because people are at events, so they don't always feel comfortable in voting.
Correct.
That's kind of the way that works a lot of times. And as I mentioned, last week we were about 200. This week we're about 150 for votes received. That's just kind of the way it works. And then you take that and then you dilute it by having 27 events that are judged this week. That's just how that works out. So as Mike mentioned, if Toronto or Ontario comes with a really strong showing, their teams are going to rank up higher. That's just the way it is. So, of course, always take these with a grain of salt. These are, never mind. These are the official.
I meant, and then our always disclaimer is, two disclaimers. One, these are in no way official. Like, the bigger goal of doing this is not to see who they are official. The bigger goal really of this is just to kind of hang out with you guys, talk about these good teams for sure, and have somewhat of an idea of who's the top 25 is, but just to get together on a weekly basis and talk robots with you guys, and that's it. And then also we always say, don't complain if you didn't vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So get those people in your areas to vote, spread the word about us, and then we'll just slowly grow. And this year we have a lot more voters than we have in years past, consistent voters in years past. So
can I just add two things from one? Nick, our producer, said it's official when you get the sticker at champs.
True.
So that's close. We'll have to figure out how we do in half champs. The second thing that I want to point out is something I totally forgot because I just lost track of my thought here. So I'll think about it later, and we can move on.
So if they don't want us to go over the top three, we don't have to. But
if we're really looking for a way to get those stickers in the South Champs, if we want to dip into the fun coffers and fund my trip there, I'll go there.
Totally.
I'll go.
I think Pauline's going to South Champs, so she can rep us there.
There you go.
So sorry, I did remember what I was going to say. So one of the things too is that what sometimes will skew the polls are invalid votes for things, because if you put, there's people who will put the same team for all 15 votes. They'll do that, or they'll try to sneak in a team 2 or 3 times. If you have more than one error or something like that, we just delete your entry. That's just the way that works. So, if you think you're being funny or something like that, that's fine. You waste my time a little bit and I'll get over it. It happens every week, but your vote just gets deleted and your team just doesn't get on the polls for doing something like that. So, we don't necessarily penalize people for that, but just keep in mind, you have to follow the polls rules. And if you can't come up with 15 teams, then so be it. The other thing would be is do not. There are people who tend to identically copy a poll. They'll be like, "Oh, I'll change a different name," or "Oh, the person sitting next to me will put in the exact same thing." We have a certain tolerance to that too. So just keep that in mind. Please have some independent thought when picking teams. And if you don't have independent thought when doing it, then don't vote. We want you to vote, but once again, we also want you to think a little bit on your own, not just listen to somebody else.
We've been doing this for 7 years. We've seen it all.
We've seen it all.
Our voting system is pretty solid, so it's tough to fool it. Just vote, and everything else will take care of itself.
Absolutely. Justin, you got 1 bit to help support your travels, by the way.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, we got to wrap up here, guys.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for sticking through our mini rant there.
Love a good mini rant. All right, so to the top 3, here we go. Team number 1678.
From Davis, California, Davis Senior High School, it's the Citrus Circuits. 26-4 overall, and they were winners at the Central Valley and the Sacramento Regionals. So many people questioning the importance of fuel. You should take note of the commonalities of the teams here near the top of the list. Not only does fuel scoring impress the voters, but it wins events. This past weekend, 1678 got the 40 KPA ranking point or 20-point bonus in all but one of their matches. An impressive stat that bodes well for their prospects. They'll be tested in Vegas a few weeks. That will be an absolutely amazing event to watch. So congrats to 1678, the Citrus Circuits, on their 2nd regional win of the year.
Speaking of those fun coffers, how about we go to Vegas, boys? Really celebrate this whole great event.
Our producer Nick's going to Vegas.
I know, it could be a little fun.
Yeah,
by the way, the guy who doesn't gamble or doesn't really enjoy anything about what Vegas has to offer that we think of gets to go, of course.
I'll tell you what.
I can't repeat what Nick said. So.
I don't drink, but I'd still enjoy the hell out of Las Vegas. Let me tell you.
All right. So we're gonna take a quick break right here. We're gonna check in with Christine, right?
Yeah, just real quick. Yeah, I want to check in on Christine. And look at her drawing, and then get the drawing entry that we're doing for that and what that's going to be. So let's bring her up on full screen here.
Looks great.
Wow. So anything you want to talk about your journey through this beast drawing?
Yeah, it was interesting really getting a close-up look at this. I was shocked that there are actually some pretty good photos that aren't super grainy to zoom in on and check out what was going on there. So it was pretty awesome to draw. It's funny to see how, a lot of the robots back in the day were just either painted wood or spray painted, but this was kind of pure bare metal, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to draw.
So, Christine, the drawing is going to be beast, right? You have to type in beast?
Yeah.
All lowercase?
I don't think it matters, actually, but... So yeah, yep. So type in beast. We'll take that over the last 2 and get those entries, and you'll get a chance to win. Oh, that's your Caltran.
I'm getting it.
All right.
No, I am.
Another rigged raffle on fun.
Another rigged raffle coming up here on the top 25.
Are we drawing or
no? You guys can do the final 2, and then we'll draw.
Okay. Sounds good. So
all the drama's in the 2 spot.
Some people, I think, called it here in the chat, but our 2nd-ranked team is Team 2056.
From Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada, Orchard Park Secondary School, it's OP Robotics, 16-3 overall, with the winners of the Waterloo District event. So the lack of a picture release or a video release of the robot really builds a suspense for 2056. All eyes were on Waterloo to see what machine 2056 had designed for Steamworks. The robot features a big hopper fuel ground pickup with a static gear mech. They clearly designed the robot to be a great fuel scorer. In the words of Tower Holtzman, they're just trying to make fuel great again. One of the best first event fuel teams that I've seen. Some teams are just, they come out their first event, they're okay at fuel. They improve their 2nd event. 2056 is already really, really good, and that will only improve as the season moves on. So win this past weekend at Waterloo is likely just the beginning for 2056.
Yeah, like you said, I think the coming out of the gate there strong is hard to do, but they made it look easy. And another team that can just pick up fuel off the ground really easily. Just lets they go over. If there's a hopper that's empty, they go over and get it. But if it's on the ground, they just they vacuum the side of the field and just score from there. So great job to 2056.
One thing I just want to jump in and mention: 2056 actually received the most amount of first place votes, actually over our first place team. So interesting to see how it worked
Very
out.
interesting.
All the drama.
It was really, this is, I think, one of the closest we've seen between 1 and 2. So, of course, there's always that little joke that we all have that 2056 is always second. So,
they are.
Sorry, Tyler.
It's true.
He's traveling right now, so he's not watching live, thankfully.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at.
All right, boys, you want to finish this off?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, number 1 ranked team for week 4 this week's FRCTop25 is team number 1114.
From St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, Governor Simcoe Secondary School at Robotics, 28-9 overall, and they were winners at the Ryerson and Waterloo district events. So how far we've come. With their picture release, it had many people wondering if Robotics was even going to be good this year. Those questions have soundly been answered. With 2 district event wins and an impressive KPA auto, the team will play for gold in the Ontario District Championships. So, guys, what are your thoughts on 11-14 so far? Will the lack of a ball ground pickup and gear ground pickup eventually hurt them? Interesting questions to ask. So, first off, congratulations, 11-14. Awesome robot. We're going to kind of not pick apart their robot, but just ask some good questions.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see how it plays out. I think if you look at 2056, they went with a static gear mechanism because fuel is their game, right? They can kind of play the gear game if they need to, but really they want to vacuum the field and be the team that's putting fuel into the boiler. So with 11-14, not having a gear or ball ground pickup yet doesn't mean they're not working on it. It's going to really be interesting to track their progress through the season and see, how well that a robot with those traits holds up as we move into the districts and world championships.
I feel like we talked about this last week. I think they almost, again, looking back at it, with the 40 KPA auto, the further you get into the season, the more likely you're going to get it in auto. Yeah. Like, why do you need a ground pickup? I guess for teams that
was going to be my exact comment, Mike. Was, if 11-14 can get the 40 KP in auto, I think this is a lot more moot for this. Yeah. However, as it stands right now, they are not getting 40 KP in auto, at least not consistently. But that I think that's a big difference maker for something like that. And it's no different with 2041 Robotics.
Right.
Yeah.
But with the help of not even that they have to do it solo, but even at the, I guess I don't know if have we seen a drop off gear plus just a 10 ball score from them? I'm not sure, but
no, I don't think they've. Are you asking, did they score a gear in auto and then score?
Yeah, like let 2056 or whoever go to the hopper and then they score. Or whatever.
I don't think 11-14 has done that. I didn't see it.
And people in the chat were also saying that 11-14 was like cycling gears, and I think dropping them off for 2056 to then pick up and put on.
Yeah,
so that's
really
a strategy too, So I think it's kind of that forward thinking where we're all like, they don't have ground pickup for fuel. Yeah, but maybe that's helpful in the first few weeks of the event, but playing for a championship may not be as crucial as a need. And you see with them too, right? They score, or even if it's them, they don't have any help. They go and score their 10 plus whatever they can get out of the hopper. Well, they also go over to the human station and grab the bucket full of balls as well to help finish off if all the hoppers are empty at that point. So that's also, playing the game as well that way.
Mike, did you say 2056 is ground pickup?
I thought that's what somebody was saying. I don't think they do either, right? Okay, then I misspoke. Right. I thought somebody in the chat had saying they were doing so.
And you believe them? That was your first problem.
I did. Yeah. I always believe what the chat says. It's like Wikipedia. Anybody can put things in there.
All right. Hey, let's do the drawing for Christine's fantastic drawing. Let's see who wins that. And the winner is going to be
no, he was last week, wasn't he?
Was he?
That never claimed it?
No, I don't think he was.
Okay. I thought I had seen that last week.
Subscriber Blue Man 56.
You have 10 seconds or I'm taking it.
He already said something.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, congratulations.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Yep. So make sure you do have to PM me your contact info. So shoot me that on Facebook or on Twitch here, so we can get that as well. Reroll. three in a row. What? I don't know. We'll look into it. It's so hard for me to like uneligible people who have won previously. So that's right. For now, congratulations to Blue Man. Am I missing something or no?
I don't think so.
All righty. All right. Fair enough. All right.
The voice of reason.
Christine's like, I gotta GTFO, so let's hurry up. So, all right. So Christine, if people want more of your drawing, where can they go, by the way, if they want to check that out?
Yeah, so they can head over to my Facebook page or my Etsy shop and just search for Wordplay All Day and follow along with the drawings that I post. This drawing will be available as a $2 digital download, just like every other drawing.
Fantastic. Hey, Blue Man, make sure you shoot me a message with your information, by the way, just reiterate that. All right. Thank you so much, Christine, for a fantastic drawing. Thank you to Blue Man for winning that. And do want to thank everybody who did sign up for Fun Nation. We want to thank you so much for your donations and your subscriptions on there. Subscribing, just Robo Greg, Aliyah Med 4 for resubbing for 2 months. Thank you, Greg 4976, Sog Twinster, Blue Man 56, Jaw 20, RA3D, Indiana Betsy, Flybotics, Becker's Rollers, Drew 94, Tombot subscribed yesterday. Thank you so much for subscribing, everybody, and thank you to everybody for their bits as well. Really helps make this show possible, guys. This is a model and method we're going with right now. We're not having ads, so we're trying to do a different model here of subscribers. So if you want to keep us going, we're going to try this out. If it doesn't work, then we'll go back to ads or something like that. But right now, we want to put you in the power. So if you really like what's going on, for free through Twitch Prime or for only a few bucks a month, you can help keep this show going. And thank you to everybody who has made this possible. We really do appreciate it. We are growing and we're doing well. We just need to keep moving more and more. So also big thank you and a reminder to our subs. We're going to have a subscriber night next Monday. I'll have another giveaway. I think we're going to actually do some gaming with Libby Kamen online. So
boy.
Yeah, we'll just sit back, relax, have some fun, get the swear jar going a little bit and just kind of going from there. So yeah, so next Monday, 7 to 10 Eastern, I think is the time we'll be doing that. So thank you once again for everybody subscribing and for your bits. And for everybody following us as well. We do also have t-shirts available thanks to Two Pencil Design. So make sure you go to our website at firstupdatesnow.com and click on Fun Store for your to get a t-shirt. Rep us on Fun. We'd appreciate it. We sell these pretty much at cost. Just want you to rep us out there in the community. Thank you so much. We do have a full buffet of shows once again. Game Day Live on Saturday and Sunday. Look for more details for that. And as I mentioned, our sub night on Monday. On behalf of myself, Mike, Justin, Christine, and Nick, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Ryan Guinn, good buddy of ours, for being a fantastic guest. And thank you to all of our moderators in chat, keeping it clean and making it happen. We'll see you next time on First Updates Now on the FRC Top 25. Talk to you then. Good night, everybody.